Okay, good morning, welcome back. Let's go ahead. Am I clearly audible? Fantastic. Chalo. We are in the introduction of direct tax. Introduction का last part. Tax rates. Hello. Tax rates. Clear ना? Tax rates are going on. We are doing tax rates under the hello. We are doing tax rates under the old taxation regime, assessee by assessee. Individual का tax rate खत्म. Same tax rates applicable for HUF, AOP, BOI, but AOP, BOI excluding cooperative society. For cooperative society, separate rates are given. So we have to do that. We are done with partnership firm, and we are doing tax rates for the last assessee, that is company. Indian company will be a company which is registered in India. Foreign company will be company which is registered outside India. But tax rates are not given on the basis of Indian company and foreign company. Tax rates are given on the basis of domestic company and non-domestic company. What is a domestic company? All Indian companies, but also a foreign company if it makes arrangement for distribution of dividend in India. And what is non-domestic? Anything which is not a domestic company. Domestic company ka tax rates. Applicable for the previous year 25-26. First answer will always be again unwell. First answer is always going to be 30%. Only if turnover 2 years ago was less than or equal to 400 crore, so 25%. Correct hai? And new company ke liye, it is always going to be 30. That was basic tax rate. And always remember, whether I mention this or I don't mention, look, if you observe, every assessee I have been writing this. In case I don't, still you assume, you take it for granted, special rate is always going to be applicable. Every tax rate that I am discussing with you is on normal. Correct? After basic tax. Next concept of rebate. Chalo, you tell me, how much rebate? Not applicable, because rebate is applicable only for resident individual. Very good. Not just individual, but resident individual. After rebate, surcharge. Surcharge is applicable for all assessees. Rates are different. Individual, after 50 lakh 10%, after 1 crore 15, after 2 crore 25, after 5 crore 37. Partnership firm 0 to 1 crore, no surcharge. After 1 crore 12%. Correct hai? For domestic company, if the net taxable total income is up to rupees 1 crore, there will be no surcharge. So let us conclude, companies and firms will have surcharge only when their income exceeds 1 crore. After 50 lakh ka 10% surcharge is applicable for individual HUF, not for firms and companies. After their income crosses 1 crore. Tell me one thing, partnership firm ka surcharge after 1 crore is 12%. Correct? Individual ka surcharge after 1 crore is 15%. But surprisingly enough, up to income of 10 crore, domestic company ka surcharge is only 7%. Surcharge on domestic company only 7%. Till income level of 10. Matlab, listen, you individuals, if you cross 5 crore, your surcharge is 37%. But company ka only 7%. Don't you think it is unfair? No, listen, we are already taking 30% basic tax from you. Otherwise, I'll give you one idea. Take 30% basic tax, take 30% surcharge on income, not on tax, and cess na 4 and make it 40% on income. So income 100 rupees hai, 30 basic, 30 surcharge, 40 cess. Take full income as tax, and then give Bhagavad Gita ka gyan. तुम क्या लेके आए थे, क्या लेके जाओगे, तुम्हारा क्या था जो चला गया. अरे obviously we are already levying a very massive rate of basic tax. Therefore, surcharge not applicable up to income level of 1 crore. Correct hai? And after 1 crore only 7%. But once you cross 10 crore, you will be having surcharge of 12%. After income exceeds 10 crore, there is going to be surcharge of 12%. ये clear है everyone? So 0 to 1 crore, no surcharge. More than 1 crore, 7%. More than 10 crore, 12% surcharge will be applicable. Clear? And last thing, HEC. Congratulations. Why? Always same. 4% on basic plus surcharge. Clear? Abhi I will do B. What is B? Tax rates for non-domestic companies. Foreign companies which are not distributing dividend in India. Non-domestic company. What is the first thing that we do always? Basic tax. For partnership firms and companies, one thing we have understood, there is no basic exemption, no slab. It is flat rate. Firms ka 30, companies ke liye it can be 30 or sometimes 25. For non-domestic company, the rate of tax is going to be a flat rate of क्या? Inter में 40 था. By the time you have come to CA final, it has become 35%. No, it was 40 when you were in Inter. एक second wait. अरे Janardhan, when you were in CA Inter, the rate of tax for domestic company, non-domestic company was 40%. Last year is assessment year 25-26. Budget of 2024, which is 1 year old for you because your budget applicable is 25. Last year an amendment took place where rate of tax of domestic companies or non-domestic companies was reduced from 40% to 35%. It is not a current year amendment. It is 1 year old. As of today, non-domestic company का income tax rate. As of today, non-domestic company का income tax rate 35%. ये clear? Now, one thing everyone knows, whether I mention this or I do not mention this, special rate is always going to be applicable. Special rate is always going to be applicable. मतलब 35% का basic tax will be applicable on non-domestic company only on their normal incomes. If they have long-term capital gains, if they have stock market, if they have casual winnings, special rate will be applicable. Correct? है? After basic tax. And I'll give you one good news for non-domestic company. There is no variation. Domestic में sometimes 30, sometimes 25. Non-domestic में कोई variation नहीं है. Every time it is going to be 35. In fact, one more good news. After we finish old taxation regime, we are near completion. We now will go and learn tax rates of new regime. There is no new regime for non-domestic company. New regime is applicable only for domestic company. In fact, for partnership firm LLP also there is no new regime. So new regime is applicable to selected assets. Partnership firm का discussion is over. Non-domestic company का discussion is over. Basic tax खत्म. Next, rebate not applicable. Surcharge. If your net taxable total income is up to rupees 1 crore, surcharge nil. Correct? Companies and firms का surcharge will come only after they cross 1 crore. If the income is greater than 1 crore up to 10 crore, so domestic company 7%, non-domestic company का surcharge 2%. Do you still have the question, sir? Why so less? Right? Why? Because we are already levying a very, very high rate of basic tax. First point. And second, it has now become 35. Historically, it was always 40%. Believe me, first time I studied income tax. I studied income tax first time in 2006-07. So I have roughly spent about 18 years with the subject taxation, about 3 years as a student, about 15 years as a teacher. And in 18 years, this is the first time where rate of tax of non-domestic company has changed. It was always 40. First time it has become 35%. 35%. Is that clear? So, basic tax is already very, very high. Therefore, surcharge is very low. And if the income exceeds rupees 10 crore, so domestic company 10 crore, 12%, non-domestic company 5%. So you can learn it like this: 0712 025 क्या बोला ब्रो? 0, 7, 12 are surcharge का rates for domestic company and 0 to 5 are surcharge ka rates for non-domestic company. Is that clear? As far as marginal relief is concerned, every assessee wherever we calculate surcharge, marginal relief is always going to be applicable as a part of the concept of surcharge. Always applicable. So when your income just crosses the threshold, the difference in tax cannot be more than the difference in income. Marginal relief is always going to be applicable. Is that clear? And after surcharge, last concept, HEC. HEC also will be same. Clear hai? To understand how complicated surcharge is, 0 to 50 lakh, nobody will have surcharge. After 50 lakh, individual HUF will have surcharge of 10%. Firms and companies, 9 over. After 1 crore, individual HUF का surcharge will become 15. Firm का surcharge will start 12. Domestic company का surcharge will start 7. And non-domestic का surcharge will start 2. If this was confusing, it is going to be more and more confusing. After 2 crore, individual will change to 25. Firm will remain 12, domestic company will remain 7, and non-domestic it will remain 2. After 2 crore, 2 crore, after 5 crore, 37, others will remain same. After 10 crore, individual will remain same, firm will remain same, but domestic and non-domestic company का surcharge will change. And all this was the chaos in the old regime. अभी new regime बात. And then there will be some surcharge in that tax called minimum alternate tax, alternate minimum tax. One day when I complete those chapters, MAT, AMT, now that you have the first 2 books, most of you, so you all know MAT, AMT are the last 2 chapters of volume 1. Check क्या करता है भरोसा नहीं. The last 2 chapters of volume 1 are MAT, AMT. In that also there is surcharge. So one day when I complete those chapters, I will give you a task. Take a blank paper and write all the surcharges, whatever, wherever you studied in income tax. Blank paper. Let us see kitna surcharge you get correct. Is that clear? Old regime mein, that way you were thinking that company is the last assessee, but one more assessee is there. See, we are done with individual, HUF, we are done with firms, we are done with companies, local authorities, artificial juridical person. We are done with AOP BOI, but AOP BOI mein, we said, yeah, excluding cooperative society. Because once the organization is registered under the Societies Act and it is a cooperative society, the rates are different. Tax rate for cooperative society is going to be different. That is also an AOP. If you want to register a cooperative society, when you apply for your permanent account number, you have to register as AOP only. But registration under Societies Act will change your status to cooperative society and your tax rates are going to be different. वो जो AOP का slabs था, that was like individual 0 to 250, 250 to 5 lakh. But cooperative society का slabs are a little different. First step is going to be basic tax. 0 to 10,000 directly they have 10% tax. मतलब that way understand they don't have any basic exemption, but they do have slabs. First 10,000 will be taxable at 10%. मतलब 1,000 rupees का tax, very easy. Next 10,000 will be from 10 to 20, 20% tax. So how much tax? 2,000. So at 20,000 the income, what is your total tax? And when you cross 20,000, everything will be taxable at 30%. So you can actually do it like this: NTTI minus 20,000 into 30% plus 3,000. But of course, if there is any income which is taxable at special rate, then these slabs will not be applicable. This we are aware. Hello, ये है slabs of cooperative societies. Very quickly, rebate not applicable. Surcharge is applicable. Look at the surcharge and tell me it is same as what? If your net taxable total income is up to rupees 1 crore, no surcharge. If it is greater than 1 crore, up to 10 crore, 7%, and if it is greater than 10 crore, 12%. So cooperative societies have surcharge, which is exactly same as domestic property. Same. So when you will be given that assignment of writing surcharge on a blank paper, you have to write this first. Or you can also say domestic company equal to cooperative society. Surcharges. And obviously HEC always 4%. HEC across assessees, across regime, old regime, new regime, different chapters. In fact, this tax calculation or MAT calculation, AMT calculation, wherever we are calculating tax, cess is the same at all places. ये clear है? This, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations, badai ho, abhinandan, is the end of conclusion of tax calculation as per old regime, and now time has come to go and learn tax as per new regime. See, you can always have a question that, sir, when we were in CA Inter, we first studied calculation of net taxable total income. Once we completed NTTI, then we were taught tax rates. Because you can't calculate tax without calculating income. But here, why are we doing tax rates at the beginning of the syllabus? Because every chapter, if you have the index, the very next chapter, chapter number 2, because first chapter is introduction. Second chapter is a chapter called double taxation relief. In that, there will be a question. Calculate the tax liability of the assessee and also calculate the foreign tax relief available. Inter में नहीं था, it is coming for the first time in final. It is a chapter in international taxation. Of first chapter say you have to start calculating tax. Every chapter you will have tax calculation. And thus you need to know the latest rates. They know. Once you have studied slab rates even once in life, you just need to know current year rates. Because over the last 3 years, obviously there are changes. And that is the reason we have to start our syllabus with tax rates. Every chapter we will be having tax calculation. Correct? So we will, now that we have completed old regime, we will also be completing new taxation regime. New taxation regime first time was introduced in income tax in 2019. Listen to the history carefully. 2019 government changed, election year. And first time finance ministry was given to tada, first time 2019 election year था. Election year में budget always comes late because new government आने के बाद में budget मिलता है. In 2019 it was 5th of July. In 24 it was 23rd of July. So 5th July को budget came. That budget was applicable for that particular year. Hello. Agar they want to bring something in the budget, they should bring everything in the budget itself. We had always experience के साथ seen that every year there is one budget. Election year में there will be two budgets: interim budget by outgoing government and final budget by the new government. So there was one budget on 1st of February given by Piyush Goyal sir. Interim budget था 2019 outgoing government because Jaitley ji was unwell. And second budget, auntie became finance minister, so she got. It was a matter of pride for all of us. First time we have a female finance minister, women empowerment, etc. We had no idea what is coming up. In July she brought a budget, and in September, 2 months later, she brought something called an ordinance. She said, "I forgot the following things in the budget." That means in 2019 we had 3 budgets. February का interim budget, July का final budget, and September का ordinance, because lot of things in income tax were changed. And 2 sections were introduced. Section 115 BAA and 115 BAB. New taxation regime was introduced for domestic companies. Which budget? 2019 budget. New taxation regime was introduced for Domestic companies. Companies which are in manufacturing business will come in BAB and other companies will come in BAA. As a rough idea I am giving you, I will do everything in writing, all the conditions in detail. Manufacturing company, newly incorporated with date, with conditions, everything. Rough idea. Manufacturers need more encouragement than other businesses. Why? Q. Employment. What was employment? Employment is generated by service providers also, traders also. We want to reduce our dependence on imports. Make in India. You know, people often have this argument, okay, sir, if China is the problem, Pakistan is not the problem. Now let us understand very clearly, Pakistan is not the problem because we can purchase Pakistan by tonight. In fact, night is too late, by evening. Problem is China. So why don't we prohibit completely imports from China? Bro, India will shut down. India amounts to hardly 5% of Chinese exports. China ko, I would have said a very, very offensive word, China ko tang farak nahi padta. If India prohibits. Because India amounts to only 5%, single digit of China ka exports. India is dependent on China. Go home and take a 360 degrees parikrama circle and you'll find sab China. Everything is China. Your TV, fridge, AC, washing machine, everything is China. Your mobile phones, Apple Hushari, assembled in, designed by Apple in California, assembled in China. If not the final product, the spare part is being made in China. And China where labor is so cheap. I know costing is no longer a part of your syllabus. But you have studied cost sheet in life. Direct material, direct labor, direct expense makes your prime cost of any product. आगे भी है. Add factory overheads, you get factory cost, WIP stock, the cost of production. Are you wondering how I know all this? CA hai bro. Obviously, we are taught accounts, costing, FM, direct tax, indirect tax, everything. We are taught computer books. China ka labor is very, very cheap. So cost of product is too less and therefore they sell, they dump in the international markets. We are not able to compete with them because your labor is very expensive. And you fire a labor from the job, the political party ka people will come to slap you. Things are very difficult. Business is very difficult in India. We are not able to compete with them. So our government says you make in India. If you are manufacturing products in India, we are going to give you some tax benefits. You know what? India ka festivals are celebrated by China more than India. India में होली है, color comes from China. इंडिया में मकर संक्रांति है तो kites come from China. इंडिया में रक्षाबंधन तो राखी comes from China. इंडिया में दिवाली है तो lights come from China. इंडिया में गणेशोत्सव है तो गणपति का मूर्ति comes from China. And when all shopkeepers want to protest against China, no, they want to support the country. All of them are putting a board outside their shop. Boycott Chinese products, boycott Chinese products. The board also comes from China. Some China. These days, love is also China. No guarantee. Chala to chand tak, nahi to shaam tak. No guarantee. Everything is China. We are heavily dependent. But how do we reduce the dependency? Will be reduced how? If our manufacturers manufacture good products that can compete with Chinese products in pricing also. Take one simple example. This audio system is a company called Ahuja. Ahuja is India's best company. One time cost है. If you purchase it, see, if you drop it or you throw it, 10 teachers will come and use in one day. So obviously there is going to be some damage. Otherwise, if there is no physical damage, you do not have to incur a single rupee of repair and maintenance on it. But the audio system will cost you 25,000 rupees. A similar audio system you buy from China, that also imported in India and purchased and brought to my house, that will come in 2,000. What do you purchase? Abhi people will like say China ka to kharab ho jayega in 1 year. Arey to so what is the problem? 1 year later you buy it again at 2,000. 10-12 years tak to you keep on buying Chinese products. No problem. It is still not going to match the one time cost. Problem is that Indian products are not able to match the pricing of Chinese products. So somewhere our government wants to encourage you in one way or the other, and throughout our income tax law, lot of tax benefits are given to manufacturers. If you have some distant memories, manufacturers are given additional depreciation, extra depreciation compared to other assessees. Yaad aata hai? So we want to promote, encourage manufacture in our country, and therefore two sections, the rate of tax in this section will be much lower than this section. If I have to specify 8% the difference, but we will do it in writing. But two sections were introduced for domestic companies. Then came the budget of 2020. Listen how impatient auntie is. July mein budget aaya. Already 6 months of the year over. You understand, in the next few months, the normal regular budget was supposed to come in February. She could not wait till February and she brought this budget. Ordinance, September. Then came budget of 2020. World में COVID already आ गया था. COVID was already, COVID-19 is called 19 because it came in 19. India में it spread in 2020, but world में it was there in 19. World was thinking about how to deal with COVID. Auntie was bringing amendments. In 2020 ka budget, she brought a section 115 BAC, that is new taxation regime for individual HUF. That one section which you have studied majorly at intermediate, because intermediate is about individual HUF. Other sections are not applicable. When was this announced? 2020. And along with individual HUF, in that same budget of 2020, she also introduced new taxation regime ka one more section, 115 BAD, for resident cooperative society. For whom? Resident cooperative society. So these two sections came in 2019, September. But 2019. These two sections were announced in 2020. But when these two sections were announced, there was an objection raised by cooperative societies in manufacturing business. Listen to this carefully. Just like companies are manufacturing, we also have cooperative societies engaged in manufacturing business. In companies, are we giving tax benefit to manufacturers? The cooperative society requested, sir, we are manufacturers, please give us also tax benefit. So they introduced in 2023 ka budget. This section you have not studied at intermediate, section 115 BAE, which will also apply to resident cooperative society. In other words, we have two sections for companies, we have two sections for cooperative society, BAD, BAE, and we have one section for individual HUF. Is that clear? When 2023 ka budget introduced this, the whole idea was, do we have two sections for companies here? Can you see this? What is the difference? Manufacturers will pay lower rate of tax. Same difference is existing in BAD, BAE also. Cooperative society ka two sections. What is the difference? These are manufacturing cooperative society, and compared to 115 BAD, the rate of tax will be lower. That means it looks like these two sections are same because the assessee here is assessee is same. It looks like these two sections are same because the assessee here is same. But that is not true. Listen to this carefully. The only thing same in these two is assessee. The only thing same in these two is assessee. In fact, these two have more similarities because they are tax benefit applicable to manufacturers. All conditions are same. These two have more similarities. Non-manufacturing organization, and all conditions are same. Only difference is assessee. All conditions are same. Here, only difference is assessee. All conditions are same. So, I repeat this. It looks like they are similar. Not true. Not true. They are similar. What is the only similarity between these two and these two? The assessee is same. The conditions are not same. Condition is same for these two. Ye clear? Obviously, this is CA final. We have to learn all the 5 sections. But you understood how the sections, in what chronology they were introduced? Last section that was introduced was BA in 2000, in the budget of 2023. When 2023 का budget में this section 115 BA was added, one more amendment took place. They said we are now extending 115 BAC, which was till now applicable only to individual HUF. This will now also apply to AOP, BOI, but obviously excluding cooperative society. You know, old regime में भी AOPs were divided into two parts, cooperative society and others. New regime में we already have separate rates for cooperative society. So here, which AOP will go other than cooperative society? And same thing will also apply for AJP, that is artificial juridical person. In other words, now we have two assessees. Local authority ko we are not counting. Other than local authority, we have two assessees for which there is no new taxation regime. One, partnership firm including LLP, and two, non-domestic company. No new taxation regime. If you get an exam question on partnership firm, you should be very, very happy. Q. You have to solve it only once. If the question comes on individual, you have to solve it twice, old regime, new regime, unless question specifies. But for partnership firm, you have to solve only once. Effectively, ladies and gentlemen, we have to learn 5 sections in new taxation regime. 5 sections. 115 ba, bas, bad, be. Kya? Ba, bas, bad, be. 5 sections. New taxation regime ka 5 sections, all of them were introduced different dates, different budgets. But there are certain common things. There are some common points in all of them. See, individually there are differences. We have already seen assessees covered are different. But there are some common points in all the 5 sections. You can call them features of new taxation regime. What is the ground, the basis, the logic of introduction of new taxation regime? What was the whole idea? What is this thing called new taxation regime? When Auntie became the finance minister, she had this in mind that I want to be a revolutionary finance minister. I want to bring about those changes which no one has ever thought of. Which is why, first time in my entire career, and first and only time, as I told you, I have spent 18 years with taxation. In the Auntie generation of taxation, I have seen an amendment in residential status. 2020 ka budget, when she introduced 12365, when she introduced deemed the resident ka concept, that was 2020 ka budget. She has decided I will change everything. Everything. So she comes to the parliament and says that industry, taxpayers, assessees are putting pressure on me for reduction of tax rates. Everyone is saying reduce tax rate, reduce tax come karo, tax come karo, tax come karo. I am ready to do that. Auntie says what? I am ready to reduce tax. But go and check the income tax law, the entire income tax law, and you will find at various places in income tax law, assessees are taking tax benefits in the form of exemption and deduction. Exemption is something that we don't include in income, and deduction is something we first include then subtract. Correct? When you take any exemption, when you take any deduction, your total income will reduce. So you have already reduced your income and you still want me to reduce tax. That is not fair. I am ready to reduce tax rates. Condition: if you are ready to forego, give away certain tax benefits. And she gave a long list. Long list. I will speak a few things from the list. See if you have some memories of them. Leave travel allowance exemption, which employees take under section 10(5) from their salary income, is an exemption. Just understand. Exemption, deduction, tax benefit. House rent allowance ka exemption under section 10(13). That's a tax benefit. The deductions that you take against your salary income, entertainment allowance for government employee, professional tax if paid, deductions are tax benefit. The deductions that you are taking in special economic zone, it's a tax benefit. If you are a member of parliament or member of assembly and you get your daily allowance or constituency allowance, it is exempt from tax. It's a tax benefit. If we talk about income from house property, properties are of two types, SOP and LOP. In LOP, you are showing income, so we don't have a problem. But in SOP, you don't show any income, NAV is nil, but you are still taking deduction of interest and making it a loss. Is that a deduction? In business profession, normal rule should be income minus expense equal to business profession, but you are taking too many additional benefits like additional depreciation, contribution to scientific research, 35 AD investment in specified business, warehousing of agriculture produce, cold chain facility. These are all deductions. If you have a minor child and the income of minor child is added in your income, you take an exemption of 1,500 rupees per child. Amount clubbed or 1,500, whichever is more. And the most important of all, you are taking after your gross total income deductions under Chapter 6A in the form of life insurance premium, medical insurance premium. By the end of it, auntie is going to make all of us eligible for 80U as well. So tax benefit. 80U, Google karna, otherwise one day I will make it. You are taking these benefits, reducing your income, and after reducing your income, you are asking me to reduce tax rates. No. I am ready to reduce your tax rates, provided you are willing to forego all these tax benefits. Whatever I just now spoke for the tax benefits. Now see, when you tell me to forego a deduction like scientific research, special economic zone, 35 AD specified business, warehousing of agriculture produce, cold chain facility, hospital with minimum 100 beds, hotel of 2-star and above, such deductions are not applicable to normal people like you and me. Think about it. You have your mobiles right now, you have your phones. Okay? Open the front camera of your phone and check yourself. एक बार देखो, front camera खोल के check yourself please. And those who have put their camera, ये online lecture में camera on is compulsory. I will not remind you again. Okay? Couple of minutes here and there, some emergency, I can understand, but otherwise it is compulsory. Okay? Look at yourself. देखा क्या? Check किया? Notification check करने का I was not telling you. I was telling you to open the front camera. Look at yourself and see what is the probability of you starting hospital with minimum 100 beds. Check. Look at yourself. Check. Hotel of 2-star and above. I am not saying it is impossible. I am asking you to check the probability. So, a deduction like special economic zone or scientific research is not going to affect me. But when you tell me that I will not get my life insurance ka deduction or medical insurance ka deduction, that is dangerous for me because that is applicable to me. And new taxation regime is a threat to middle class. What is auntie trying to say? Okay, middle class will be very, very beneficial. It will be very beneficial for middle class if they go to new regime because till 12 lakh the tax will become zero. What you don't understand is, today somebody from the middle class is buying life insurance or medical insurance not for protecting his family, but for tax benefit, tax deduction. Think about it. I am buying life insurance. Why? So that if I die, my wife gets money. 1 minute. I have died. You also died. ये क्या बात है? I have died, so to take care of you, I have to take life insurance from my money. You understand the problem? मैं मर गया, तू भी मर. But I am taking life insurance to protect her. नहीं, I am taking life insurance for tax benefit. I am taking medical insurance for tax benefit. If supposingly these tax benefits are deleted, which is happening in the new regime. Hello? If I will not get 80C, if I will not get 80D, I will stop buying insurance. You understand the short-term benefit is that, of course, new regime ka rates are better than old regime ka rates. But you understand the long-term losses. 10 years later, and 10 days later also I can die. Are you sure that you are going to survive till tomorrow? And I know your reaction is, sir, don't die in 10 days of the fees of the birth. अभी complete करके die. Don't die before that. Makes sense. Logical है. बाद में after batch completion. अभी तो हो गया ना, फाइनल भी हो गया. इंटर के बाद में तो you still had some this. एग्जाम के बाद. नहीं ब्रो. रिजल्ट के बाद. रिजल्ट हाँ एग्जाम्शन पार्टी वो करेक्ट है. मेक सेंस. प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड 10 years later if I die and I die without insurance, then what about my wealth? 2 years later if I have some hospitalization expenditure but I have stopped taking medical insurance, you get no tax benefit, then what about my hospital expenditure? Middle class is not disciplined. कि न्यू रेजिम का सेव किया हुआ टैक्स दे विल इन्वेस्ट इन एसआईपी. मिडिल क्लास इज इनडिसिप्लिन्ड. द टैक्स दैट दे विल सेव बाय गोइंग टू न्यू टैक्सेशन रेजिम, विद दैट दे विल बाय एप्पल का आईफोन, रॉयल एनफील्ड बाइक, अ मोटर कार. सेविंग्स गॉन प्लस ईएमआईज. मिडिल क्लास का प्रॉब्लम. I had seen a web series. I can't say the full sentence, but in that web series there was a statement: middle class आदमी आदमी नहीं डैश होता है डैश. Any minor here? Minor है नहीं. I have this strong urge to say this word. Say minor. Ladies department चलेगा. Middle class आदमी आदमी नहीं. पक्का ना. पागल होता है पागल. Of course, I like the way you thought. Seriously, middle class does not have that discipline, and therefore the tax saved is going to be put in wrong places. That's the problem. So the question is, sir, then why should we go to new taxation regime? Because as of now, it appears to be good. And one thing please understand, there is a difference between being good and looking good. New regime looks good. It is not good. Because to get that benefit of 2,32,500, I will prove that to you in numbers, with numbers. Write down this amount somewhere. 2,32,500 के benefit के लिए I have to actually forego exemption and deductions of crores of rupees. Crores of rupees. And I was talking about people like you and me. Life insurance, medical insurance are the things that we are discussing. Home loan ka interest may be in SOP. But when we talk about top income earning people, they have special economic zone, they have scientific research, they have additional depreciation. Those deductions are in crores of rupees to save what? 2,32,500. New regime is not good, it only looks good. But your reaction is, sir, everyone is doing new regime only. Arey, everyone is foolish. School में you were taught. सब कुएं में कूदेंगे तू भी कूदेगा. And by the way, Finance Ministry is releasing data that 90% people have filed returns under new regime. You went and checked it? Check किया आपने? नहीं, that's not true. That's not true. They are releasing that number because they want you to go to new regime. Because the moment they say 90% people are going in new regime, you will have that FOMO. अरे सब लोग new regime, so I should also go in new regime. They want you to go to new regime without forcing you. Please understand. Why they are not forcing? मैं तो क्या बोलता हूँ, auntie, if new regime is so good, why are you keeping old regime? Abolish कर लो. Make new regime compulsory. Understand, if new regime becomes compulsory, Indian stock markets will collapse. Please understand the macroeconomic picture. The Indian stock markets will collapse. Who is the biggest investor of equity markets? You. Adani का एक शेयर खरीदा 2,000 रुपए का. You think you are a big investor in the stock market? Some people say, sir, today I purchased Adani, so it went up. Lol. No. Who are the biggest investors? Insurance companies, domestically. I'm not talking about foreign investors. You pay premium of 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, and you want claim of 1 crore, 2 crore. Where will the insurance companies get that money to pay your claims? Your premium ka money they invest in stock markets. An equity is a very, very potent asset. It can double, triple money in a few months. And with that return on investment, they pay your claims. Now, if you stop buying policies, they don't get premiums. So they will have to withdraw money from their equity investments. Indian markets will collapse if new regime becomes compulsory. And auntie does not want that blame on herself. And therefore, she is trying to make the new regime attractive so that you shift to the new regime voluntarily. And by chance you shift, now you don't have money for your medical treatment. So she will say, your problem. You shifted voluntarily. I did not force you. You understand this? So new taxation regime, the common features go like this with all the understanding. Feature number one, tax rates are going to reduce. Have we completed tax rates in old regime of all these assets? You know, rates of old regime for domestic company also, individual HUF also, cooperative society, everything we have completed. Whatever is the rate in the new regime, the rate is going to be lower than the rate taught to you under the old regime. We will see section by section. We have 5 sections now. Hello, new regime mein we have 5 sections. BAA, BAB, BAC, BAD and BA. Correct? Hai? Tax rates will reduce on a condition that the tax benefits, lots and lots of tax benefits have to be foregone. If you observed all the explanation that I did carefully, did you notice that I have ended up saying all the tax benefits? Leave travel allowance, house rent allowance, 10, 14 ka exemption, standard deduction is the only thing that you get in salary, but entertainment allowance and professional tax you will not get. SOP के सामने interest you will not get. Additional depreciation, scientific research, 35 AD, minor child का clubbing का जो benefit है 1500 rupees that will go away. Chapter 6 से का deduction will go away. MP MLA allowance का exemption will go away. Long list of exemptions and deductions have to be followed. Tell me one thing. When you don't take your exemption, when you don't take your deduction, what happens to your amount of income? The income will increase, and on that increased amount, lower rate of tax will be reduced. Somewhere when you were in intermediate, you must have studied something like this in long-term capital gains. 20% with indexation, 10% without indexation. Take indexation, gain will reduce, apply 20. Don't take indexation, gain will increase, apply 10. That similar concept is going to be applicable here. Take your exemptions and deductions, reduce income, pay as per old rates which are high. Don't take your exemption and deduction, increase your income, pay tax as per new rates which are lower. That means you will have two tax liabilities, tax as per old, tax as per new, and you have to pay both of them. Correct? Oh, Jago, you have to pay any one of them. This is the biggest problem in your life and my life right now. It is only because of this one word that we have to study so much. If new regime becomes compulsory, bro, we spent about 1.5 lecture. One lecture was introduction. Yesterday's full lecture was old regime. It was not applicable. It will not be applicable if new regime is compulsory. But new regime is optional. That means we will have to calculate tax as per old as well as new, so that we are able to decide which one is the lower. See, as a chartered accountant, you are no longer an intermediate student. You have to think in a mature manner that in the next few months you are going to qualify as a CA, and you are now going to start charging people fees for the knowledge that you are applying. So if you are coming to class and you come to class only with the intention के सर बस अभी टैक्स के पेपर में I want marks 40 marks कैसे आएगा बस उतना चैप्टर बता, then you are not going to survive or succeed. You are not going to be successful in your career. You ultimately have to extract money from people. Only for the next few months in your life you are working for marks. Rest of your life you will have to work for money. You have the brain to understand what I am saying. And believe me, dear students, extracting money from people is a very difficult task, because you have to give them some value. So when people see benefit in you, only then they will be ready to pay. If I have a benefit of 1 lakh because of you, I will happily pay you 20, 30, 40, 50,000. So as a chartered accountant, you need to save some taxes for your client. So you need to calculate both liabilities, old and new. Only then you will be able to come to know how much you are saving for your client. Supposingly, the tax year is coming to 150 and the tax year is coming at 100. Example. So which one should your client pay? 100. How much have you saved for your client? 50. So your client is very happy. Will pay you good fees. But then it is very difficult to extract money from people. So you know how to extract money from people? You learn these things also. You have a lot to learn from me other than tax. I get paid only for tax, that is also too less. But you have a lot to learn from. How to deal and behave with people in real life. And this is probably your last chance to learn in a classroom. That you are not going to go and tell your client that your liability is 100. No. What do you go and tell your client? 150. Tax liability क्या है? 150. 150. Client is like, sir, ma'am, please do something. Can you help me? Can you help me reduce the tax? Okay, wait. I will do something for you. Then do what? Do no, you've already done it. After a few days, go and tell your client, I have worked very hard on your case. Because of me, your tax is no longer this. It is not because of you, it is because of the law. Now go and tell your client, मैंने तेरा tax कम किया, मैं. The law is giving me the facility of reduction in tax. So that you are able to tell the client how much you are saving for them. So income tax mein, whichever place you get an option between two things, always remember that you should know both. And first tell your client the higher liability, then go and tell your client the lower liability, so that you can tell your client how much you save for. Of course, slowly and gradually we are moving into the era of artificial intelligence, where your client is not going to ask tax liability to you, your client is going to go and ask ChatGPT the tax liability kitna hai. But do you know that ChatGPT, when you go to the search bar, starting mein they say that we can be wrong. Check kiya? Check that. Put, now that you know old regime, no? Put some income ka figures and see ChatGPT will calculate tax without surcharge. Artificial intelligence cannot replace human knowledge. And people who are naturally stupid will remain stupid. That artificial intelligence cannot cover their stupidity. You need to have this intelligence. ये सब के लिए you need to have knowledge of both. As long as new regime is optional, you will have to learn both. And that day when new regime becomes compulsory, 30% of your syllabus will be deleted. But abhi to nahi. So for you people it won't be deleted. For any future year, if new regime becomes compulsory, the 30% syllabus will be deleted. How? This chapter will become half. Why? Old not applicable. Correct? PGBP का biggest sections, additional depreciation, scientific research, 3580 gone, special economic zone का chapter gone. Some of the big exemptions of salary chapter, leave travel allowance, house rent allowance, gone. Chapter 6 is a full chapter gone. Think about it. Anybody who goes to the new taxation regime, there is a chapter called minimum alternate tax, which is a special tax applicable to company, and there is a chapter called AMT, alternate minimum tax, a special tax applicable to others. MAT AMT will not be applicable. MAT AMT will not be applicable. So you see the last two chapters of volume 1 are MAT and AMT. AMT is very small, but MAT is a very big chapter. Together, MAT and AMT will take about 3 or 4 classes, 3 or 4 lectures, because MAT is big, including questions. Gone. Because anybody who goes to the new taxation regime, to those assessees, MAT, AMT, not applicable. Obviously, you have to check assessee by assessee. So these sections are applicable to domestic company. If they take new regime, MAT not applicable. You understand? And these sections are applicable to other assessees. If they take new taxation regime, to AMT not applicable. As applicable, we are discussing. Make sense? तो massive reduction in your syllabus. But by the way, these are points ABCD of what? New taxation regime का common points which will be applicable to all the taxation. ये correct है? Next, is new regime optional? So how will income tax का assessing officer know that you want old regime के new regime? How will they know? How will they know? वो astrologer है? He will get a dream? नहीं. You will have to tell the income tax department that you want old regime के new regime. You will have to exercise your option on or before the 139(1) due date. You will have to exercise your option on or before the 139(1) due date. 139(1) due date is due date for return filing. There are 3 due dates for return filing. Brief level pe this chapter was applicable in intermediate, the chapter of return filing. At final it is a very big chapter, assessment procedure. Lekin inter mein you were at least taught the 3 due dates. Normal due date 31st July, people covered under audit 31st October, and people covered under international tax transfer pricing. So 1st May, 30th to 1st क्या बोल? You said something. 31st November. वाह 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 वाह. एक बार है ना घर पे जाके do this January, February, March, April. There is no 31st, 30th November. चले, no problem. Understood? You have to decide before your due date which regime you want. मतलब do we have? अच्छा, current year में it has been extended to 15th of September, but that is only an exceptional case. सुन लो. Okay, listen. If you go and read section 139(1), 139(1) में due dates are given. 139(1) में they have said July, October, November only. That section is not changed. There is no amendment in the section. Whenever they want to extend the due date to give it as a facility to the taxpayers, it comes in the form of a circular as a trial temporary relaxation. And by the way, that due date is extended for the last assessment year 25-26. Think about it. Current year का जो due date extended है, that is PY 24-25, AY 25-26. That in any case is not applicable for your exam because your exam is next year. Understood? And by chance next year also it gets extended. You don't have to study that circular for exam. You have to study the section. Circular is applicable for practical convenience of professionals, taxpayers, so that they are ready till that date, extended date. For one reason or the other, if they are not able to take their choice or make their choice till the due date, we give them extension. ये clear है? Otherwise, learn क्या करना है? July, October, November. Is that clear? New regime is optional, but you have to exercise your option before the due date. If you go to new regime, MAT AMT will not apply. Your tax rates will reduce, but only if you are ready to forego tax benefits. And last point, feature. And you understand, these 6 points are common for all the 5 sections. 115, BA, BAS, BAD, BA. BAA, BAB, BAC, BAD, BAE, common for all of them. Clear? Last point. If there is any income which is taxable at special rate, short-term capital gain stock market 111A, long-term capital gain stock market 112A, long-term capital gain regular 112, casual winnings 115 double B were covered in intern, and lots more coming up for you as far as final is concerned. As we already checked, volume 1 के अंदर 5th chapter is special rates of tax. Special rates will continue to apply even in new taxation regime. This is very important piece of data. What you need to understand is, see if you understand this, you will compute net taxable total income. Net taxable total income will be divided into 2 parts. Special rates wala income can be called as special income, and we have normal income, other income. Correct है? For this other income, Your regular incomes like salary, house property, PGBP, normal other sources income, you can decide old regime, old new, whatever you want based on the option exercised by you on or before the due date. But the special income will always be taxable at special rate. Special income will always be taxable at special rate. The option between old and new is available only for your, come on, option of old and new is available only for your normal incomes, other incomes. Special income will go in special. For example, I have got 10 lakh ka PGBP and 5 lakh ka LTCG on house. So for 10 lakh, I can choose old regime ke new regime, old regime ke new regime. But 5 lakh, irrespective of regime, 5 lakh will be taxable at special rate, long-term capital gains tax. Understood? That means MAT AMT not applicable, but special rate applicable. And these 6 points, I repeat that, are common whether it is new regime for company, new regime for individual, or new regime for cooperative society. In all the sections, compared to old regime, their tax rate will be lower. Second, for getting the lower tax rate, they will have to forego certain exemptions. Third, the regimes are optional. You have to decide before the due date. MAT AMT not applicable, but special rate applicable. These six points are same for all the 5 sections. All the 5 sections. Matlab whether it is company, individual, or cooperative society, common for all. But there are some differences also. And listen to this carefully. The differences are only in this section 110 weeks, which was the most important section for you at intermediate in new regime because the others were not applicable. But there are certain points in 115 BAC which are different from the remaining 4. And I am now going to discuss the differences. But before I go to the differences, understand 2 things. 1, these 6 points are common in all the 5 sections, no difference. And 2, whatever difference I will teach you also is applicable only for BAC. The other 4 are still same for this also. Matlab, my difference discussion is going to be like this. 115 BAA, 115 BAB, 115 BAD, 115 BAE, they will all be on one side and the differences are only and only under 115 BAC. Matlab, the above 6 points are same for all 5 sections and these differences are only differences for this section. For the others, they are also same. Who is covered here? Company, cooperative society, and here we have individual. देखो assessee का difference तो we have already seen now, but in features there are some differences. The first difference, the difference is only in which section? BAC. The other 4 are still same. First difference you will have to tell me. And listen, take me. When I say you will have to tell me, it is not assuming that you know it from CA Inter. No. I have taught you at CA Final. I have taught you at CA Final. I have taught you at CA Final. Between 1st July, 2nd July and 3rd July. I have taught you. That one difference only applicable for which section? BAC. The other 4 are still same. क्या? नहीं. Tax rate तो obviously different होगा. Have I taught you the tax rates of these sections? मैं क्या बोला? I have taught you. अब तो बोल रहा है इंडिविजुअल असेसी. नहीं तो that way तो असेसी इसमें भी अलग है. That one thing which is different only here and same for all of them. ट्राई करो. नहीं, वो अभी तक I have not told you how much rebate क्या rebate. Have I taught you surcharge? नहीं. Have I taught you rebate of new regime? नहीं. अभी तक I have not done rebate in new regime. How can you conclude कि individual कोई है new regime में भी can be different? No, I am telling you, I have taught you. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट्स नहीं, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ये दोनों है, बट व्हाट अबाउट दीज टू? नहीं, हिंट दो। हाँ, क्यों? ट्राई करो, एग्जाम में विल गिव यू हिंट। अच्छा अच्छा, दिस इज वेयर आई स्टार्टेड न्यू टैक्सेशन रेजिम। प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड एवरीवन, आई वांट द आंसर फ्रॉम यू। फ्रॉम ईयर टिल ईयर आई हैव टॉट यू, बस। I have taught you under new taxation regime in today's lecture that one difference applicable only for 115BAC. Welcome to direct tax. Here you have to understand the things which are written in front of you, and you have to also understand the things which are not written in front of you. Maximum hint इतना ही था, I can't go beyond this, I can't give you more hints. क्वेश्चन क्लियर नहीं है, अंडरस्टैंड द क्वेश्चन। क्वेश्चन क्या है? डिफरेंस ओनली एप्लीकेबल टू बीएससी। मैट एएमटी इज आल्सो रॉन्ग बिकॉज कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी को एएमटी, सो इट इज नॉट डिफरेंट ओनली फॉर बीएससी। ड्यू डेट ऑफ फाइलिंग कैन बी डिफरेंट फॉर एवरीवन। रेट्स ऑफ टैक्स आई हैवंट टॉट यू। रेसिडेंशियल स्टेटस कैसे? एक्सप्लेन नो। ऑब्जर्व कर, फॉर कंपनीज दे हैव स्पेसिफाइड डोमेस्टिक, फॉर कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज दे हैव स्पेसिफाइड रेसिडेंट। अब चेक कर द एलिजिबल हियर, चेक कर। द सेक्शन 115BAC says only individual HLF, AOP, BOI, AJP. It does not say resident individual. Bro, you are in CA final. Please understand. The moment, I told you this yesterday also, I say it again. The moment any chapter or section is a special chapter or section for non-resident, anything that is applicable to non-resident, it is international tax, 30 marks. Non-resident means international tax. And do you realize that when nothing is mentioned, so 115BAC will apply also for non-residents, which means in international tax also 115BAC is applicable. But in international tax, BAA, BAB, BAD, BAE are not applicable. Observe किया? So first difference, for companies they are specific that it has to be domestic, or for cooperative society they have used the word resident. But did you observe, for 115BAC everyone is covered, that means you can be resident or non-resident. Understood? I don't want to sound repetitive, but I want to remind you, these 6 are same in all the 5. Difference only here and only 115BAC. First difference, 115BAC will apply to resident as well as non-resident. Correct है? Second, by the way, this was a part of your inter-syllabus course, resident as well as non-resident. But the second point which I will now do was not a part of your inter-syllabus. You have not studied this in inter. This amendment came for May 24 students. May 24 में it was an amendment. 23 के बजट में BAE was added. 23 के बजट में, I would like to tell you this also. In this section 115BAC, first time they had put only individual HLF, but 23 के बजट में they added all of them. And 23 के बजट में one very big change took place. Very big. Here, by default, you will be in old regime. So, you have to exercise on or before due date of filing return. Matlab, before due date, you have to file your return and tell the government, sir old, sir new, sir old, sir new. See, before due date, you do whatever. That will be decided as your regime. Supposing the due date is gone and you haven't filed your return, you haven't exercised your option, then you will be in old regime or new regime. For companies and cooperative societies, by default, they will be under old regime. But here is where the amendment took place when 2023 ka budget. So it was not a part of your inter exam. It was first time a part of May 24. That by default, you are going to be considered as a part of new regime. मतलब सुनो individual, before due date file your return. Listen to this carefully. If you are filing your return before due date, you can choose old new, old new, old new. If you don't do anything up to the due date of return, so individual will be considered as a part of new regime. Your tax will be calculated on the basis of new regime. This was the change. So before 2023 budget, this actually used to be a common point. I used to write here. Default regime is going to be old for everyone and you can go to new before due date. But from 2023 onwards, this is a part of differences, not in common points. So by default, companies and cooperative societies, old regime, but individual, new regime. You are understanding this? Okay. First, talk about the left side, companies and cooperative society. If you haven't done anything up to the due date, so by default, you will be old. Do you want to go to new? I'm asking, you want to go to new? So you will have to exercise that option. What is that option? Your option will be that you want to go from old to new. And this you will have to do as written in the common points on or before the 139(1) due date. Companies ko to July will never apply. It can be October or November. Cooperative society as applicable. Whatever is your applicable due date, whether July, October or November. Before the due date, you file your return and in that return, you exercise your option of taking new. Otherwise, by default, you will be old. Correct? But when it comes to individuals, it is little confusing. Come to the right side. Come to the right side. Think about yourself as an individual. I haven't done anything up to the due date of return. So they will put me under new regime. But do I want to go to old? And believe me, if my client files it, I'll talk about, forget the clients, I'll talk about my personal income tax return. Last year I filed in old regime. This year also the due date is coming. You think I am covered in October due date? You think October applies to me? नहीं टैक्स रिटर्न फाइल करने का ड्यू डेट अक्टूबर. यू थिंक अक्टूबर अप्लाइज टू मी? वैसे तो यू कैन से नवंबर आल्सो बिकॉज़ आई हैव लॉट ऑफ इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट्स बाइंग लेक्चर्स. नहीं क्या कैसे कर ब्रो? if पार्टनरशिप फर्म का अगेन अच्छा ठीक है, whatever is the due date. Okay, if I do not exercise the option for the due date, by default I will be put under the new regime. But I have filed my return last year in old regime. I will file my return whenever my due date, whichever is my applicable due date, I will file in the old regime. This year also, because this year we are filing return for last year. No? The 12 lakh wala thing is not applicable. I will be filing in old regime, I am sure. Next year I will see old mein new mein kitna difference. If my NTTI is coming up to 12 lakh rupees and I don't have to pay anything. Achha, by the way, that NTTI which comes in my income tax return is not my actual income. It is what we earn is one thing, what we show is another thing. We are chartered accountants and Marwadi also. Okay. When I wanted a bank loan, so वो बैंक का रिलेशनशिप मैनेजर आस्क्ड मी कि सर आपको होम लोन कितने का चाहिए? I said I want this much amount. He said okay. Then his question was, sir आप income tax return में income कितना how much is your income as per income tax return? To which my question was, how much do you want? तुझे जो चाहिए उतना इनकम आ जाएगा. I am a chartered accountant, CA bro, and you have to get those papers certified by chartered accountant. And you cannot certify your own financial documents. No problem. We have one COP at home. मैम के पास है, she is practicing chartered accountant. अच्छा, by the way, as per CA Act, she can't certify my financial statements. लेकिन वो बैंक में सबमिट किया, बैंक एक्सेप्टेड, बैंक में लोन अप्रूव कर दिया, बाद में we violated CA Act, but bank did not check that I got my document certified by my own spouse. And purposely, what we have done is, उनका जो rubber stamp है, on the rubber stamp, her name is as per before marriage. So, if the surname would have been same, then it would have been doubtful. Bank sanctioned the loan, disbursed the loan, and I am paying the EMIs. So now it is not affecting me or the bank. See, bank will have a problem if I don't pay the EMIs. I am paying the EMI. The bank does not have any problem. You understood? So, I am 100% sure that I will file my return in the old regime because I have life insurance, I have medical insurance, I have home loan. अब बोलना मत सर इतने यू. I have good amount of deductions that I am 100% sure I will file my return in old regime. But listen. If I do not exercise any option, then by default I will be new regime. Therefore, here, if I exercise my option, that means I am doing basically what? Going from where to where? Here I am going from new to old, and this I have to do on or before 139(1) due date. Only for 115 BAC, it's a separate one. That means, अगर short term में बोलूं, default regime on the left side, old, and on the right side, new. Therefore, what is your other option available, which you have to exercise? Automatically, you won't get it. Automatically, here you will be in old, here you will be in new. If you want to change this, that means what's your option? You can go to new, and here you have the option of going to old. But whatever you want, if you want this, you will have to do on or before the due date of return filing. Otherwise, by default, left side पे old regime, right side new regime. Is that clear? This part is very, very important for exam purpose. Real life में तो ठीक है, you file return in whichever regime you want. Say, I will not interfere in your personal life, but if you want to take my opinion, there are two options of paying tax. Old regime, poison. Old regime के poison. समझा? Old regime or poison. क्यों? Because new regime only looks beneficial. It is actually not beneficial. 2,32,500 you have written, no? Will wait and watch. Exam perspective, it is very, very important. Think about the exam angle. Okay? In CA exams, if they ask you to calculate tax, only tax, so you have to calculate old and new both. Listen to this. Sometimes your exam question will be calculate tax in a manner which is most beneficial to the assessee. Guess which one you will calculate. Both, then only you have to know. Sometimes, and last couple of years they have been doing this. In the exam question, they will say assessee is in the default tax regime. Assessee is in the default tax regime. So for these assessees, you will calculate tax as per old, but for individual, you will calculate tax as per new regime. Or of late, if supposedly they want to ask you questions on exemption deduction, so in the question they will say assessee has opted out of the default tax regime. Opted out of default matlab you're new, but for individual it will be old regime. That means if I talk about what I am doing practically now, it will make sense to you. In my real life, while filing my income tax return, I am opting out of the new tax regime before the due date. Of course, before. Samjha, everyone? Fantastic. Last point of difference. And the difference is only under BAC. So first 6 points common for all the 5 sections. 3 points common, still common for these sections. These 3 points are different only for 115 BAC. I hope there is absolutely no confusion regarding this. Absolutely no confusion. So let us see how is 115 BAC ka last point different. You have decided to exercise your option. On the left side, the moment I say I have taken optional regime, matlab I have actually done work. I have shifted from old to new. Is the meaning of option. Right side it will change. Right side pe option means shifting from new to old. But we are talking about the left side. Right now we are talking about the left side. Are you with me? I have exercised my option. On the left side, when I say I have exercised my option, but now I have gone in new regime. Now where is this company? Where is this cooperative society? Option after the option के बाद में where is it? New regime. Option once taken can never be changed. Once you go from old regime to new regime, left side way, you are going to remain in new regime forever. This is one way. This is irreversible. Irreversible. You can never come back to the old regime. Matlab, let me put it this way. This means companies and cooperative societies have to exercise option only once. Think about it. Second time you don't have the option. You are now forever going to remain in new regime. Option once exercised, legal language में बोलता हूँ, legal language. Option once exercised will apply for all future assessment years. Option once exercised will apply for all future assessment years. This is like your CA exam. CA exam. You know, if direct tax can be made very easy, if we have some examples with the help of which these things can be related with your daily life. Things that are happening in your day-to-day life. CA ka exam. You all have probably seen old syllabus, new syllabus. You all saw the transition phase, no? Because you all gave intermediate exam in old syllabus, 8 papers. But final ka exam in you all are that special category who has given more papers in inter than final. See, people before you, inter final both 8 papers. People after you gave inter also 6 papers, final also 6 papers. You all are that rarest of rare case who has given more exams in inter than final. Think about it. एक अलग category है ना? You all saw that transition. First time it has happened. First time it has. देखो, I am a part of Chartered Accountancy since 2006. 2006 में when I started studying for exams, my exams were supposed to take place in 2007. We studied for a course called PE1 for 6 months, and suddenly ICAI announced that existing exams will be discontinued. We will now have something called CPT. CA का first level was CPT. I gave the first ever CPT exam which was conducted by ICAI. First CPT I gave. New syllabus का first attempt. So there was a transition. Some years later, this new course was CPT PCC final. Some years later, after 3-4 years, 5 years, they again changed it to CPT IPCC final. After 5 years, they again changed it to Foundation Inter final. After 5 years, they have kept Foundation Inter final, but with massive change in the overall course structure, papers in final and inter are reduced. from 8 to 6. Articleship is reduced. I did 3.5 years. IPCC people had 3 years. You all have only 2 years. Articleship ka change took place. They introduced first time this concept called SPOM. CA course changes every 5 years. Every 5 years. But something has happened for the first time this time. Earlier, whenever they used to change the CA course, they used to run parallel attempt of old syllabus and new syllabus. So we had the option. You all are learning for PE1, you can continue and give exam in PE1, or you can shift to CPT for 2 years, 4 attempts. It was CPT or PE1. But the people used to ask each other, you are giving exam in old, can you? Old course can new course? Old course can new years? A new course? After 2 years, institute used to announce that this is last exam of old course. Either you clear this exam or we will compulsory shift you to new course. And this they used to do always. First time ऐसा हुआ है that they haven't given both options. They said November 23 will be last exam in old course and May 24 will be first exam in new course. Parallel attempt were not run because it was assumed that if we give option, everyone will go to 6 papers. You don't have to study EIS. Correct? Articleship is 2 years. Where is the question of option? So they did not run parallel attempts. But when they used to run parallel attempts, did you have choice? So by default, you were in which course? You are already registered. Old. After one exam, you want to go to new, no problem. After 2 exams, you want to go to new, no problem. 3 exams, 4 exams, jitna bhi parallel exams they are running. But remember one thing, once you shift your course from old course to new course, you will not be getting the old course ever again in life. That was the policy for CA exam, and that is the policy applicable on the left side of the chart. You can go from old to new whenever you want, but once you go to the new course मतलब new regime हो गया, course से कम हो. Once you go to the new regime, you will forever stay in the new regime. समझा? Everyone? So left side, default regime, old, exercise option of new, and once new, always new. Yeah, left side. Right side, default regime, new, exercise option of old. Now the question comes, sir, can I change this? We'll discuss. Okay. Left side the change is not allowed. Right side we will discuss. Left side the real life relation with CA exam. Right side का भी similar real life relation I will get. Don't worry. Let's talk about this. First of all, here if I am exercising my option, that means I am going from where to where. Hello. Network at proper. Once I exercise my option, I have gone from new to old. Correct है? Not completely correct है. पार्थ मैं करता हूँ. Half knowledge is worse than knowledge. Okay, I will correct it. New to old. But the question is, if I exercise my option and I go from new to old, where am I now? अभी मैं किधर हूँ? Old. The question is, can I come back to new? ये question है. चलो. For this purpose, taxpayers will be divided into 2 categories. When I say taxpayers, मतलब individual HUF, AOP, BY and HFP, the assessees which come in 115 BC. Hello? We are talking about those assessees which are a part of 115 BC. People who don't have any income under business, मतलब salaried employees. People who have only rental income, dividend income, anything other than PGBP, and people who have income under PGBP. Correct है? Those who don't have income under PGBP, their rule is very easy. Very easy. Those who don't have PGBP, like best example is salaried employees. Do we give these people the option of going from new to old? This option can be exercised on a year on year basis. मतलब every year you can change your option. Every year you can change your option. मतलब tell me one thing. By default you are in. Talk about salaried employees. Salaried employees in your mind. By default you are in new. Before due date you can go to old. So this year you will be no. New year started. By default you are in new. You don't do anything. You will remain in. New year started. Again default you are in new. But you want to come back to old. So do that before due date. मतलब you will have to do it every year. If you are not exercising anything before the due date, so new. And if you want old, you can choose it every year. You can choose it year on year basis. Old, new, old, new, old, 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 new, 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 old, 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 new, 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 old, new, old, new, old, new, old, new. Every year you can change the option. Just remember that by default you will be in new, and if you want to pay tax as per old, you will have to exercise option. It can be changed every year option. Yeah, correct. So this was associated with your CA course. You have to go from old to new, then you will stay new forever. This does not require any association with daily life because it is not complicated. Very easy. Every year you can change. In case after becoming a chartered accountant, you go and pick up a corporate job, a matter of choice. You want to set up your own practice, you want to go for job, or you want to set up your own business, you want to start your own consultancy, you want to have your own startup. क्या करना है? Wow, you must have planned something. कुछ भी नहीं. May attempt. Have you planned for that? Let me be honest. You are going to face huge difficulties in life. I'll tell you the reason. One day your CA result, make attempt. First week of July result. I somehow wonder how some of these uncles on Twitter, every few days they are CA exam ka result will come on 3rd or 4th July. Another person is putting 6th or 7th of July. Somebody is writing something, and somebody is saying first week of July. I wanted to comment ke uncle, institute की building के सामने जो चाय बेचता है ना, he also knows के result comes in first week of July. Now every uncle says wait for official notification. So why are you putting things on Twitter unnecessarily? So 6th July next year भी वही आएगा. So your make result will come. Suddenly you know what will happen. Yesterday you were a normal person. Today you are a chartered accountant. You will start having more expectations from yourself. But you are still not clear what to do in life because you are not thinking about it today. So you will wait. अभी क्या करूँ? Job करूँ? Business करूँ? क्या करूँ? You are going to kill time. See, today also you sit at home and do nothing. But you don't have any moral impact of that on your brain. But after becoming a chartered accountant, when you will consume free food at home, you will start questioning yourself. And if the delay becomes too much, you will end up taking something only so that you don't have to sit idle. You will end up taking something that you don't like. There are people who became chartered accountants with me, my friends. It's been 1.5 decades of professional career. They are not happy with their jobs because at that time they did not decide. When I was a CA intermediate student, I had decided that I will be in the teaching profession. When I was studying for CA final, I was teaching CA final students. That was my articulation. I was preparing notes at that time. And thus, despite being so young and handsome, I have 15 years experience. I am not trying to compare you with myself. I am not trying to say that become like me. I am only saying decide as early as possible. You have to decide now. You can't become a CA and then decide what I have to do. And you have too many options. Further studies also is an option. Not study and start earning. मेरा guarantee. If you think that CA क्या कौन से मुहूर्त में I had taken CA, when was this decision taken? What am I doing with my life? Who is that person who told me to do CA? मिल गया तो मारूंगा पकड़ के. If that is what you are thinking, because the condition of your life currently is that I told you, like a soap, सब घिस रहे. Morning में teachers, during the day your principal in office, weekend mein little teacher, little principal, Sunday starts, Sunday over. For some people, they don't have that Sunday also because you work in big firms. So they call you to office even at that time. Correct? Hai? You are, so irritated in life. It's a matter. The worst phase of your CA career one is over. Matter of few months. That day when you clear, you clear not only by passing. Thoda knowledge you should have. And with me, if you come to class, you don't come to class only for exam. You come to class how to apply these provisions in your daily life, in your professional life after becoming CA. That is our main target. If you work on the basis of instruction that I give you, ignore the idiot influencers which say कि CA का starting salary 6 से 8 lakh रुपया होता है because you start thinking high. After doing so much, I will get only 50,000 per month. By the way, considering your current stipend, 50,000 is also good only. Honestly, but I'll tell you what. 12 lakh per annum का guarantee I am taking. मैं guarantee 1 lakh per month. But if nobody is offering you 12 lakh, please come to me. But the condition is that when I ask you some technical questions, you should have answers. बोला पता नहीं सर एग्जाम में नहीं आता इसलिए I did not study. If you are studying, you study not for giving exam, but study for applying these concepts in your real life. If you are good, first attempt है, rank है, तब तो 12 है. If you are a rank holder, it can be 15-20 also. 15-20 is possible. First attempt and then also 12 is possible. अभी मरते मरते 3-4 attempts में वो भी 40 lakh के only one subject you get some good marks and therefore you manage your aggregate. That means you are not passing CA, you are only managing. That is when that 6 to 8 lakh comes. Often hear this influencer, they say starting package. Matlab the idiot of idiots will get 6 to 8 lakhs. If you have little talent in you, then your valuation will be higher than those idiots. If you decide you want to give exam only for getting 40-40 or getting a good pay, because ultimately all the last 5 years, you are at the far end of this difficult phase. So many years, just imagine, right from your intermediate, 8 hours ka lectures you used to attend every day. Your friends used to, have fun, but you used to attend lectures. Last 2-3 years of your life, there has been that boss who has always troubled you. See a final custody. इस सब का रिकवरी करने का टाइम has come, and I guarantee that, provided you focus on learning with the help of practical application and not just passing the exam. 40% वाले को nobody is going to take care of. Some, okay, and if you have knowledge, if you have decent marks, I am telling you 12 lakh का guarantee I am taking. And by the way, 12 lakh के package में, now that the good news is that you still won't have tax liability also. Supposedly you go to new regime, but next year you realize, sir, if I have 12 lakh का package, then I will safeguard my family with life insurance, with medical insurance. I will take a home loan, so I will have interest on home loan. Sir, ये सब का tax benefit, no problem. Next year you want to go to old, चलेगा. Next year again you want to go to new, no problem. Again you want to go to old. Every year you can change, year on year basis. So salaried employees के लिए it is very very easy, and left side वाला also very easy. Once taken, it cannot change. Very easy, like CA course. The most complicated part of this entire chart is this PG. Everyone pay attention. So, can change if no business income in 115 BEC? That is right. But even if there is business income, you can change. Slightly complicated, everyone pay attention. Now, don't think about yourself. Job wala. Yeah, think about yourself as somebody doing business. Or for the time being, think about me. I am not a salaried employee. I don't work full time with any organization. I get professional fees. Too less, but I get professional fees. So my income comes under PGBP. Am I individual? Having PGBP, matlab, this whole story you can say I am telling you about myself. By default, where am I? Which is everyone. on the right side. Therefore, my option is, I exercise my option, and I did that last year. Because last year, that is AY 24-25, they made this default. Therefore, I had to exercise option. Otherwise, before that, by default, I was in old only. No. From last year, by default, I am coming in new, and therefore I exercise my option. Last year, I decided to do what? Go from new to old. Now, where am I? Old. Listen. Now, old. I will remain in old. Unlike this side, they have to exercise the option every year. I don't have to do this every year. Last year, I exercised my option, and therefore I went from new to old. Now I am in old. This year, even if I don't do anything, I will be in old. Matlab, they have to do it every year. I don't have to do it every year. I have gone from new to old. I will remain in old. Do you realize this is appearing like this? Once you go from default to optional, you will remain in optional. You will remain in optional. It is appearing to be similar to this. But wait, for these people, what was taught? You cannot come back. Here, by chance, after staying in old for a few years, I want to come back to new. I have the option. First, I was in new. I decided to go from new to old. Now, where am I? Old. I will stay there. Again and again, no need to exercise like salaried employees. Stay in old. But after a few years, it's surplus. So, yes. Abhi, I want to stay in new. Can you come back? Are you given the option of coming back? Yes. In future, whenever you want, you can come back from, you can return from old to new. In future, whenever you want, can you come back? So you left your default regime of new and went to old. You spent a few years in old, and now you are coming back to new. Abhi aap kidhar ho? Where are you? New. Now old regime not applicable for them. Now old regime not applicable forever. Matlab, listen. First, I'll talk about them because easy. By default, left side here. By default, old. Exercise option of new, and now you remain in new. You don't have the option of coming back ever. Correct? Let's talk about these guys. Still easy because I can change year on year basis. This is basically a combo of the other. By default, new. Option exercise here to go from new to old. Now you will remain in old. You don't have to exercise again and again like that. So it is similar to this. But then they cannot come back. Can you come back? Yes, you can come back. But on condition that now you can't go again. Matlab, they will go from old to new once and stay there forever. They will go from new to old once. But they can come back. They can't go second time. They can also exercise option once. The difference is they cannot come back. They can come back. But second time going is not. Understood? And in between, the salaried employees are very easy. So here on your basis. Now real life relation. This was like CA course. Come on. So once you go from old course to new course, you cannot come back to the old course. So let's talk about this. How can this be related to your life? If you ever go to a cinema hall to watch a movie, ये देखा क्या well done से ये साहब? नहीं? How is it? Is it a good movie? Yes. No idea. Right. If you ever go to a movie hall, cinema hall, if you ever go to a stadium to watch any sports ka event, you have to buy a ticket. You have to buy a ticket. With that ticket, can you enter? Yes. If you don't like the movie, say Brahmastra, you don't like the movie, can you come out? Yes. Now can you go back? Then, yeah, this. Houseful 5. Okay. Yes. Okay, relate to this, please. Relate to this. Please understand. Please understand. Old regime here is the cinema hall, and the ticket is your option. So you buy the ticket, go inside the cinema hall. That means you have gone from new to old. You don't like old, you come outside, come back to new. Now you can't go back. Understood? It is like buying a cinema hall ticket. So companies and cooperative societies, it is like CA course. Individual without PGBP, every year you can change. So nothing great. But individual with PGBP, go from final to inter. Go from वो इंटर नहीं वो 11 12 का इंटर स्टूडेंट्स विल कम एट 1 o'clock. अरे काम धंधे पे फोकस करो. Go from new to old, come back from old to new, but now you can't go again. Is that clear? That means here also you exercise option once, here also you exercise option once. Here you can't change it. Here you can change once, but can't do it again. Is that clear? Everyone? Okay. Now I have a practical life question for you. Practical life question. Everyone is with me? I am an individual having PGBP income. Individual having PGBP income. So first of all, be clear. I fall in this category. I am individual. I have PGBP income. Answer karo. By default, new. I exercise my option. So I go to old. Now where am I? Old. Unless I come back. Old. जैसे I actually did. Last year I exercised the option. I went in old. I am going to remain in old. Now new is looking very, very attractive. With 12 lakh rupees, not this year, but next year when I file my looking very, very attractive. But do you understand the danger associated? If by chance I reverse my option and next year I file my return as per new, that means I have finished my whole process. Now forever I will remain new. So supposingly I actually do it. I'm not going to, but I actually do it. Right now I am in old because I exercise my option. So right now I am in old. That means I went from new to old. Now I come back from old to new. Now where will I be? For how long? Forever. I don't have the facility of changing the option. Are you sure? Pakka? I want to go back to old regime. I want to go back to old regime. Understand my question? You, a chartered accountant. Listen, there is one thing common between CA log and Baba log. Babis. Okay, lady group. These days there are female Babas also. There is one thing common between CAs and Babas. People will come, touch your feet and say, show me the way. Upay batao. Raha dikhao. Mark batao. Listen, a client has come to you, pleading before you. I have gone from new to old. I came back from old to new. You are saying new forever. Please, kuch bhi karo, but give me the old regime. Do something. I want my old regime back. Please show me the way. Oh, CA. If by chance, I stop showing income under PGBP. If by chance I don't have PGBP, you know I will become what? I will become this. This con. No PGBP case and a no PGBP case can exercise the option on year-on-year basis. Hey, don't give pagal wala advice to client. Stop doing business. Stop earning money. This is the best explaining advice. Stop earning money. Migrate to the Himalayas. This is the best explaining advice that you can give someone. कि पैसा कमाना बंद कर. नहीं. When I say PGBP stop, does not mean that I am asking you to stop earning your income. Continue your business. in the name of your spouse and you become salaried employee in that business. You understand? If you don't trust your spouse, possible. So making your spouse the proprietor and then receiving salary, if you don't trust, you never know, you may never get your salary. So kya? Do business in the name of HUF. But Hindu, Jain, Sikh, Buddhist. Then you understand? If you don't have the facility of HUF, yeah, it is possible that your HUF has also exercised the option. So kya? Then maybe your parents. It's okay to not trust spouse, but you can always trust your parents. Usme problem is that parents के नाम का business है, तो siblings will also ask for share, and you will think it's such a tax bill. You know what? It is better to pay your siblings than paying your government. Let your parents become the provider of the business. Hello. Options है. Share good relations and make your neighbor's wife the proprietor. No, and then take salary in cash or kind. Make your neighbor's wife the proprietor of your business and take salary in cash or kind. अरे मतलब गोल्ड में ऐसे वही होता है. He is talking as if he has been taking salary. और क्या होता है? Wait back after class. और बहुत कुछ होता है. हाँ. Of course he is right. Not funny. You understand क्या? If you stop declaring, I'm not saying stop earning, stop declaring income under PGBP, then you become a no PGBP case, and a no PGBP case can change the option on year basis. Is that clear? So, are you clearly understanding the common points and the differences? By the way, I must tell you that a major part of new taxation regime was this discussion. Because once you know this, we just have to write BAA का rate क्या है, BAB का rate, BAC का rate, we just have to write. Are you understanding? So, please be clear that new taxation regime, there are 5 sections. What have we studied till now in the new taxation regime? Ba, Bas, Bar, Be. First two, Ba and Bab. Domestic company. Bas, individual, HUF, EOP, BOI, excluding cooperative society and AJP, other than cooperative society, whether resident or non-resident. Then Bar and Be, resident cooperative society. You correct? What are the common points in all the 5 sections? The features of new regime, the basis on which new regime was introduced. First, tax will be reduced. So now we will compare, when we do the tax rate, we will compare with the old regime. Second, you will have to forego exemption deduction. Third, it is optional. You have to decide before due date. And now we also know default kya hai and option. MAT, AMT not applicable. So if we talk about companies, we will say MAT. But if we talk about other assessors, and special rate of tax, applicable. Ye correct hai? What are the differences? And the differences only under 115 B, A, C. What are the differences? 1. It is for resident, non-resident both. 2. In this BAC, the default regime will be new. In the other 4, the default regime will be old. And 3. In the other 4, once you exercise your option, that is old to new, forever new. In BAC, once you exercise your option क्या है? New to old. Non-PGBP cases can change on a year-on-year basis. PGBP case can come back to new, but you can't go again. And if you want to go again, so stop having PGBP. Ye clear hai? Now that we have idea about what is new taxation regime, one by one we will go and learn these 5 sections. And ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you this also. Once we finish these 5 sections, our first chapter, that is introduction, that is tax rates, will get over. Correct? Time to get serious because the real taxation will start from the second chapter. मतलब ये नहीं कि ठीक है सब कल आते थे. नहीं, we have to learn the rates. And by the way, new regime का rates are amended. मतलब supposingly you are going to file returns in offices this year, and whatever be your tax calculation this year, for your exam the tax calculation is different. Be clear about that. because exam के लिए next year का taxation, correct है? First we will do section 115 BAC. The reason why I do 115 BAC first is that please understand the other four have some connection. बताता हूँ. In these two, assessee is same. BAA, BAB, assessee is same. BAD, BAE, assessee is same. But that's the only similarity. You know what? I told you this. I don't know whether you remember. In these two, all the conditions are same. In these two, all the conditions are same. So actually, I will do these two together by telling you that everything is same except assessee. And these two together, yeah, everything is same except assessee. So we will do all of them, all four of them together. So because those four we will be doing together, let us first finish 115 B, A, C on the basis of the following points. Point number one. Who is the assessee? And you know what? Some of these points we have already completed. So the faster you answer, the better it is. Who is the assessee? Individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, but this will exclude cooperative society because for them we have separate section, and AJP. And because they have not said anything, resident and non-resident both cover. Correct? Hai? Second, individual HUF are covered in MAT or AMT. See, I know we have not studied the chapters, but I'll tell you very clearly, only company is covered under MAT. All other assessees are covered under AMT. So when I talk about the section of individual HUF, I will have to say AMT not applicable. For individual HUF, AMT not applicable. See, MAT anyway is not applicable. When I will do company ka section, at that time I will say MAT not applicable. But in individual HUF, AMT not applicable. Very easy. Third, how to exercise your option. Default regime, new. Therefore, option, new to old. If you are a case of no PGBP, year-on-year basis, anybody who does not have income under PGBP can exercise the option on a year-on-year basis. ये clear है? And if you are someone who has PGBP, तो क्या? You can go from new to old. In future, you can go from again old to new. And now, new will apply to you forever, except if you become a case of no PGBP. We discussed this also. So if PGBP stops, तो आप किधर जाएगा? Where will you go? Come on. No PGBP वाला case and no PGBP वाला case are allowed to do it. Yeah. Year-on-year basis. Fourth, obviously this whole section 115 BAC is the entire thing called new taxation regime is optional. Do you realize that I have done these 4 points very, very quickly, fast under 115 BAC? Yes, sir. Because we have discussed everything while discussing the similarities and differences. But yeah, the individual sections we are doing now. The section ka all the points also I am writing. This point we have already discussed. The only two things that we have not discussed about 115 BAC, the last two things remain, and 115 BAC, bro, will get over. Last two things remain, 115 BAC will get over. What two things? Tax benefits for one and tax rates. Tax benefit for one and tax rates. Last two things. First, what are the tax rates? First, what are the tax rates? I have not understood this now, service. What if we exercised our option and now old is not applicable? If we have exercised our option, that means we are in old. No, you're talking about 115 BSc. अच्छा clear हो गया ना? हाँ, okay. I just saw it here. There are two chats. If anybody is ever attending on Zoom, online or offline. By the way, offline students have to come to class because it is more effective. You have to agree with this. There are two chat boxes. One is private chat. That message will come only to me, and one is group chat. So यहाँ पे open रहता है group chat. So I can read all those messages instantly. वो private chat वाला now I saw there is some notification. But no problem. By chance, if I miss any message at the end of every lecture, you'll always hear me asking anybody has any doubt. First I take online cutouts because so that I can shut down the system. Offline, so either you are doing your typing, I will do my typing. So at that time, by chance, if I miss during the class, no, end of the class, you can discuss that. Okay, I just saw it. No problem. We have to do two things. What two things? Tax rates and tax benefits, the exemption deduction to be foregone. Rates, so obviously we will do. Exemption deduction that to be foregone. How to put it down, I will show it. But first focus on tax rates. In the new taxation regime also, they have given us slab zone. The assesses which are covered, check karo, individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, they are covered in slab rate. No? The new regime maybe we have been given slabs only. Are you understanding this? But the slabs here are going to be applicable for all assessees under section 115B. अब आप बोलेगा सर इन ओल्ड रेजिम ऑल्सो HUF का AOP BOI का AJP का slabs are same. In fact, the slabs are same as individuals only. So in old also all are same only, no? Right? In individual there are three categories. Senior and super senior are separate if resident. In new regime, there is no such division, benefit, bifurcation. So you always want to sit there, no? So you will always have to do this. In the new regime, there is no division, bifurcation, or special benefit that is given to senior citizen. When I say all assessees, मतलब including इनको बोलो ना चुप रहने को दिमाग है क्या नहीं है including senior and super senior citizens. Everyone same steps. मतलब one thing be clear in advance that there is no additional benefit for senior citizens in the new regime. Whatever is the benefit, it is a common benefit. What are the slabs, ladies and gentlemen, with effect from assessment year 26-27? Yes, the slab rates in new regime are amended, and I think you are aware of that every year slabs get amended, but last 3-4 years they are only amending new regime. Which is why, did you observe old regime ka slabs were exactly same as you studied in intermediate, but new regime ka slabs every year have changed. When you studied it was 250, 250, 250 to 5 lakh, 5 to 7, 57, 50 to 10. Then it became 0 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12. Then last year was very, very dear. The returns that you will file in office now. It was 0 to 3, 3 to 7. मतलब 4 लाख का slab. Then 7 to 10 is 3 lakh ka slab. Then 10 to 12. The only good news is that for your exam, May 26, September 26 and January 27, you have to learn 4 ka table. So slabs will be 4 lakh and rates may you have to learn 5 ka table. For the slabs you have to learn 4 ka table and for the rates you have to learn 5 ka table. So how does it go? 0 to 4 lakh. 0% tax. That means what is basic exemption limit in the new regime? 4 lakh. 2-minute silence for graduates from WhatsApp University who have started saying, sir, न्यू रेजिम में 12 लाख तक टैक्स नहीं है, 12 लाख 12 लाख ना. If you think that you have 0% till 12 lakh, you are actually assuming that your government is too generous. No. 12 lakh तक tax will become zero because of the existence of the concept of, जैसे old regime, basic exemption is 250, but tax becomes zero till 5 lakh because of rebate. When it was 5 lakh and 10 rupee, full tax was applicable and there was no marginal relief. Marginal relief was only under surcharge. In new regime, tax at 12 lakh will become zero because of rebate. It is not 0% rebate. Supposingly my income is 15 lakh, 20 lakh, 25 lakh, so my full tax as applicable has to be paid. In fact, I won't be eligible for rebate also because rebate के लिए income has to be less than or equal. Correct or no? The basic exemption is not 12 lakh. Basic exemption is 4 lakh. And now 4 ka table. And for the rate 5 ka. So tell me, you only tell me, try to. The next, every bracket will have 4 lakh. So next bracket 4 lakh to 8 lakh. You will pay tax of 5%. Carry on. 30 तक लेके आना. When I say every bracket 4 lakh and 5 का table ऐसा नहीं कि 35%, 40%, 45% चालू मत. Till 30. Till 30. हाँ, carry on. बोलो. 8 to 12, 10%. 12 to 16, 15%. 16 lakh to 20 lakh. So old regime will we have 20% after 5 lakhs. Think about it. Old regime में we have 20% after 5 lakhs. And after 10 lakh, we going 30. Here, till 20 lakh also we are coming only in 20. Next level. 20 to 24. 25%. And once you cross 24 lakh, on the excess, you will have to do. Let us calculate the tax in every bracket. Like we did in the old regime also. Amount into rate equal to tax. First bracket. So no questions. How much is the amount in the bracket? In fact, all the brackets 4 lakh. So 4 lakh ke upar we are applying what rate in this? So tax will be first basic exemption 0. Next bracket ka amount 4 lakh. Rate 5%. Tax 20,000. Next 4 lakh 10%. 40,000. 4 lakh 15%. You don't have to be a great mathematician, Aryabhat, to understand this, that every bracket ka amount will increase by 20,000. Sir, how? 5% of 4 lakh. 5% ka raise, no? Bracket ka value 4 lakh and 5% ka raise. So, whether you calculate or no, very easy. 80,000. Hello. And here 1 lakh. Obviously, after 24 lakh, everything will be taxable at 30. So, अगर 30 lakhs है, so it will be 6 lakh का 30%. या 1 crore है, so it will be 76 lakh का 30%. But in old regime, we had invented a shortcut of tax calculation. In old regime, 30% starts after 10 lakh. So we said after 10 lakh 30 and plus 1 lakh 12,500, या 1 lakh 10,000, या 1 lakh, because in old we had 3 categories. You know what? Here also we will do the shortcut and we have only one shortcut because for everyone we have same rates. Correct? Hai? If I ask you what is the tax at net taxable total income of 24 lakh rupees? 3 lakh. And we are clear that after 24 everything is correct. Hai? So what is my shortcut, ladies and gentlemen? Net taxable total income minus 24 lakh. Is this the excess over 24? This excess will be taxable at 30%. Like in old regime we did minus 10 lakh into 30%. In new regime we will do minus 24 into 30%. And then we will add the fixed tax. In old it was till 10 lakh. 1,12,500, 1,10,000, 1,00,000, 3 options. In new legend, there is only one answer. Kya? 3 lakh. This, bro, is going to be your basic tax. Basic tax, rebate, surcharge, HEC, as applicable. This is your basic tax. And whether I mention this or no, I have already mentioned actually. New regime में special rate will apply. So these slabs will be on your normal income, salary, house property, PGBP. Segregate your normal income and special income. Special income will still go to special rate. Normal income will be taxable at these slabs. Is correct? Correct? So in new regime, if your income is 24 lakh, you will pay tax of 3 lakh. Are you understanding? Are you understanding? We want to compare. Okay, old में, new में, if at all new is beneficial, how beneficial it is. So for comparison purposes, we will have to make one more problem. In older regime, if my income is 24 lakh at net taxable total income of rupees 24 lakh, what is my tax liability? Assume karo highest. Old में 24 lakh पे what is the tax? How do you do it? 14 lakh का 30%, 4 lakh 20,000. Come on, plus 1 lakh 12,500. Hello. Old regime में at 24 lakh, old regime में at 24 lakh 532,500. New regime में at 24 lakh, I had given you one amount. Learn करके रखो, लिख के रखो. What was that amount? Do you understand that new regime is going to save 232,500? Some people say savings of new regime. Savings of new regime 232,500. When this saving is shown to a middle class guy, please understand, for a middle class guy, 2,32,500 का saving is big. Average में it comes to monthly amount of almost 20,000. And for middle class, 20,000 per month is a big amount. But somewhere the comparison itself is a scam. Hello everyone, please pay attention. Somewhere the comparison itself is a scam. Because if my income is 24 lakh as per new regime, I am getting tax of 3 lakh. If I take old regime, my income won't be 24 lakh. Because in old regime, I will take my deduction. So if income without deduction, without exemption is 24, so old ka income ka figure can't be same. If I will take 80C, so 24 में 1.5 will be reduced. If I take 80D, 50,000 reduced. If I take home loan का benefit, interest, because principal तो 80C के limit में comes. Interest के लिए SOP का benefit आएगा. तो 2 lakh rupees का benefit will come over there. If I am a salaried employee, so I will be taking HRA का benefit. I will be taking leave travel allowance का benefit. Those benefits, if they come to about 6-7 lakh rupees, it तो depend करता है how much I am eligible. All you have to do is थोड़ा सा maths if you understand. 232,500 को if you divide by 30%, 232,500 को if you divide by 30%, if my exemption deductions का total that I am foregoing comes to roughly this much amount, 7 lakh 40 something. 7 lakh 75. Then in that case, old and new same. Then in that case, old and new same. Old ka 24 or new ka 24 will be somewhere about 17-18 lakh rupees. Old regime because of exemption deduction. So अगर आपका exemption deduction, so this year तो I am going to file in old only because This year, the difference is still lower. It is only 120 to 500. This year का steps 120 to 500 का if you do divide by 30%, so the exemption deduction का amount comes to over 4 lakh. उतना तो है. 80C, 80D, 80U together उतना तो I am eligible. But 7 lakh becomes a bigger amount. I will have to next year check. अगर 7 lakh का difference है तो I will remain in old regime. If the difference is less than 7 lakh, I will still think, you know why? Because for once, new can be beneficial. But if I come back to new, I will lose old forever. Spouse के नाम पे already बहुत business है. She is earning more than me. Extremely rich father. So plenty of and we are Marwadis. तो क्या every time we visit our in-laws, पूरा भरा हुआ एकदम tightly filled envelope. You have to take it. They first do a tika and then they will give it. I said, no, I don't like all this. No, you have to take it. I said, no, you have to take it. You can't say no to me. I am against dowry. But if somebody is giving out of so much love and respect, you can't disrespect their affection. Gift नहीं, affection. And relative का definition to be exempt. Father-in-law falls in relative का definition. तो वह exempt भी. तो point ये है, bro, ma'am के नाम पे I can't do this because ma'am is already earning इतना. I can't divert my PGBP in her name. तो bracket higher हो जाएगा. Now you say HUF. एक काम कर. Go to the website ssquareducare.com. It's an e-commerce website. Various products, books, video lectures, everything uploaded over there. जैसे e-commerce में होता है, choose your product, add to cart, proceed to checkout. एक काम करो ना, to see how e-commerce works today, buy something from the website. Buy करके you'll get an idea e-commerce कैसे. I have to teach you taxation of e-commerce. So to get a real life practical example, जैसे yesterday I opened income tax website for you to give you real life exposure of how tax calculation works. So today I am telling you, open my website and buy. आपको पता चलेगा how e-commerce works. When you do proceed to checkout, तो आएगा proceed to payment. It will give you option credit card, debit card, UPI. The moment you choose UPI, there will be a QR code. You scan that QR code, the payment will come in my account, and immediately you will get an email, instant email. Video lecture है तो with all the video lecture का details. And अगर books है तो thank you for placing the order. Books will be delivered in 10 days. Hard copy can't be delivered on email, no. तो hard copy के लिए भी take 10 days का time. Instant है e-commerce. In fact, for example, yesterday I told my office कि ये students का list है, final list of students. Kindly activate the backup video lectures. So the moment the office का team uploaded the Excel sheet on my app, मतलब जो backend का app होगा, जो access is only to the admin. Instantly, every student must have received email and WhatsApp message. नहीं आया? तो D&D किया होगा. Email can go in spam. Email can go in spam because bulk email है इसी. WhatsApp आया हो. WhatsApp check. Admin team का पैसा कटो. नहीं you अबे right now don't check. But we have processed the backup of everything. बात बताओ. Backup is applicable to those who are going to buy video lecture 6 months later for September or January exam. You all are online offline students. You all have to attend online offline. If you start using that backup as an excuse for not coming to class, so सुबह 7:05 का I go तो he gives me expressions. Dirty looks he is giving me. हाँ, है ना? That is what you discuss amongst yourself. 1 minute I come late and he gives angry looks. I will watch only the backup. Misuse किया ना, I will stop the access. I told you yesterday, I say it again. You should be offline students in classroom and online students on, because you understand productivity comes here. तुम्हारी ताकत है that you can pause me while I am speaking. You have the himmat to do that. Can you tell me to pause space bar? Space bar is only the pause ka shortcut, no? In all the media players. Can you do that in space? No. But video mein you will do that. So please don't misuse the backup. In extreme emergencies, office related work या outstation audit है. By the way, at this stage of your articleship, you should refuse outstation audit. Nothing is more important than my CA finalization. Kiya sir, last 1 year, 1.5 year, I have done. Now please sir. Now let me focus on my exam. But in case you're working in a firm which does not allow you and you have to go for that audit, then you can use it as, your last thing. Chalo, theek hai, I still will not miss concepts. So, the moment you will receive the backup, I'll check. एक बार तो आप check करें. We have processed the backup for everyone. So, point is this, that we will find our HOF की बात कर रहा हूँ. वो जब आप QR कोड स्कैन करोगे तो चेक करना ना, every time you scan QR code for UPI, the beneficiary का name comes. You have been stupid all your life if you went to the shopkeeper and told the shopkeeper, uncle, scanner do na. By the way, it is technically wrong because uncle does not give you scanner, uncle will give you QR code. Scanner is your phone. Your phone is scanning it. So your phone is the scanner. Don't say uncle scanner do. Say what? Uncle QR code do. So check karo. If you scan the QR code on my website, check karo naam kiska hai. नहीं check. Buy a product today and check करो. who's in it. अच्छा स्कैन करके रिवर्स. चलो वो भी ठीक है. Okay, scan करके check beneficiary. So I can't start a new business in the name of it. See, as a professional, I get professional fees from organizations. Ma'am gets her fees from organizations. So, coaching classes are classified by income tax under business. So, to start that, we had to do it in the name of HUF. You understand? Purposely HUF, I can always incorporate a company and become 50-50 director with them. Very easy. But we avoid companies for the simple reason that there are certain compliances that will increase and there are certain tax benefits that we can take if we are registered as individual or HUF, which will later not be available once we convert the organization into company or LLP. You understand if I plan taxes for the whole world, I can obviously plan my own taxes. So it will be difficult for me to do any kind of adjustment, and my life is in a very, very big risky situation. If by chance next year I get motivated with that 12 lakh figure and I file my return in the new regime, that means I have come back. So this year I will file in old only. Next year if I file in new regime, by checking this difference, I am at a risk of losing old regime forever. So I am not motivated with 230 to 500 also. And by the way, it is small and medium taxpayers like you and me who get affected with 2,32,500. Please understand that you and me are going to forego 80C, 80D, home loan, maximum 4-5 lakh rupees ka benefit. When it comes to a company which is losing special economic zone ka deduction, scientific research ka deduction, when somebody is losing additional depreciation ka deduction, the tax benefits that you are actually foregoing for this saving can be crores of rupees. Or because you are CA finance students, your intelligence level is assumed to be higher than intermediate students. Maturity level also. See if you understand this statement. अगर ये statement समझ गया ना, I will go ahead. Just focus on this statement. If new regime is beneficial, this is the maximum possible benefit, because after this everything is 30%. Same. If new regime is beneficial, the maximum benefit will be 2,32,000. But if new regime is prejudicial, harmful, loss-making, the loss can be infinite. It cannot be measured in money. It can be crores of rupees, because you have no idea of how many exemptions and deductions have to be foregone only to save 230-500. And therefore, two options. Old regime, poison. New regime is not an option. New regime is not good. It looks good. There is a difference between being good and looking. I know I am both. There is a difference between being good and looking. Understood? Hello. New regime only. New regime only looks good. Yes, I agree. Chapter 6 में maximum limit है. Most sections. 80C में there is maximum limit. 80D में there is maximum limit. And if we talk about small middle class taxpayers, we basically focus on 80C, 80D only. The probability of middle class taking the complicated chapter 6 से लिखना है 80G donation. Bro, middle class himself lives on donation. दूसरे को क्या donation देगा? You understand? Yes, there are maximum limits, but then only chapter 6 से forego करना ऐसा नहीं है. Is what I have been continuously telling you throughout the lecture. You have to forego so many benefits of income from salary. House rent allowance. House rent allowance का exemption. I'll tell you because by now you have forgotten. Actual HRA receipt 50% of salary in Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi, Kolkata. 40% of salary in other places. And rent paid minus 10% of salary whichever is low. इसका कोई monetary upper limit नहीं. That amount can be crores of rupees. Leave travel allowance का एक benefit. The boss is giving you ticket का money to go on a holiday with family. Amount received from boss or amount spent on buying ticket for self and family. Or third was on the basis of mode of travel. Air travel किया तो economic class fare of national carrier. Train travel किया तो first AC rail fare. There was a maximum limit. उसका rupees में there is no upper limit. It can be any amount. Additional depreciation. If I am manufacturer, I need not be a company. I can be individual manufacturer. I am eligible for additional depreciation. 20% of the cost of asset. There is no monetary limit in rupees. So together all of this can be crores and crores of rupees. You understand? Hello. To save what? 2,32,500. But yes, agar numbers में you have to define savings of new regime, it is 232,500. After 24 lakh, everything will go in 30% of the whole. So whatever savings come, they come in. Is that clear? Comparison is also clear. Tax calculation old regime में भी easy है. Old regime का tax calculation. NTTI minus 10 lakh का 30% plus 1 lakh 12,500, 1 lakh 10 or 1 lakh. And new regime में what are you going to do? NTTI minus 24 lakh into 30% plus 3 lakh. Only on your normal income. Special income will be taxable at. ये clear है? This was 115 BAC में. अरे 115 we told you, I told you okay. We are doing all the 5 sections individually. 115 BAC. SIC done. Optional. AMP not applicable. Tax rates. You think I will go to tax benefits before one now? अरे last I told you no 2 points are remaining. Rates and tax benefits. No bro. We can't go to exemption deduction to be foregone. ये basic tax है. Hello. Basic tax is not the final answer. अरे full old regime is over. क्या कर रहे हो? After basic tax, what do we have to do? Rebate. And here the rebate will come. Why? Because ये individual है. So first point. And after we finish rebate, surcharge and cess, then we go to the last point. ये last point क्या है? Tax benefits to be foregone. But first, rebate. What are the 3 conditions for rebate under old regime? That तो I have taught you now. देखो, understand. New regime का या anything that I have not taught, I will tell you guess करो, try करो. For example, today I told you, okay, 115 BAC का first difference identify करो. Try करो. That I have already taught. Anything that I have taught you, you should know. If you don't know that, then I have a very, very dangerous side in my personality. If that ever comes out, you will have to run away from me. Actually, current generation is so stupid. Because of your stupidity, if by chance one day I get angry, एक दिन डांट दिया. What you should understand is that I increase my blood pressure because of you. And you should be happy if I scold you or get angry. for any kind of indiscipline, for coming to class late. But do you realize the benefit? One day I got angry and next day onwards problem solved. You understand the intention of the objective? You think I get fun in increasing my own blood pressure? No. There is a purpose. You know what current generation does? One day you say anything to them, next day onwards they stop coming to class. बोले बक चिल्लाता है. अरे for whose benefit? Or what is the other way of working? छोड़ना है. I have received my professional fees. Now whether this particular student passes or fails, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? There will always be some students who will get an exemption. Pamphlet where I will write their names, do my marketing, next batch I will get my commissions. If I talk about this classroom center of mine, from November 23 onwards to intermediate, I am only taking. So those who did not clear in November 23 and clear in May 24, and May 24 onwards, all the students who clear. May 24, September 24, Jan 28, we have almost 80-100 students, and they have already taken admission. For next year, plus give and direct taxation. You know, I don't need a single outside student for running the batch. Single. Over the years, I always get outside students. But now I don't need a single outside student. In fact, outside the students, we can't accommodate them. Because my in-house students are already there. So I start thinking to help with whether you clear or you don't clear, I'm still going to get paid. Or my career is still going upwards only. I don't belong to that category of teachers. I am not going to think like that. And therefore, you still have to come on time. And it is in your interest. Okay. So please make sure that you follow my instructions. And one of the most important instructions is, if I have taught you something, you have to answer. Sir, I was absent. Sir, I missed that. Sir, I was that day online, but there was network issue. Other network issue, that is the reason backup is given. No. If you were absent because of audit, so that is the reason backup is given. No. Is it not your duty to cover it up same day and then ask your doubts? Or what are you waiting for? Syllabus complete hoga, uske baad mein I will see what I have missed. It does not work like that. It is your duty to revise every day. And now you will have to tell me the 3 conditions for rebate in the old regime. One by one. First condition. Here also it is this. Same. Second condition. Here also it is. Acha, matlab 115 BSc covers HUF, AOPPY, AGP also. But rebate will be given only to individual. ये क्लियर है? एक इन्फ्लुएंसर 1.3 million followers. मैं बताता हूं उसके वीडियो में what did he say? That if you are earning up to 2 crore rupees, you will have zero tax. The moment the video starts by saying zero tax on 2 crore income, matlab you are going to watch that video. Even if it is rubbish. His calculation was assuming 2 crore rupees is through banking channels. And assessee has opted for section 44 AD. So 2 crore ka 6% will be your income. 12 lakh. And on 12 lakh, it will become zero because of rebate. So till 2 crore, gadhe 2 crore sales hai, expense. And 2 crore ka 6% is PGBP. What about other heads of income? एक बार के लिए भी let us say he is making assumptions. Okay, you don't have expense or you don't have other heads of income. चलो let us assume. But HUF को कैसे? HUF का तो basic exemption is 4 lakh. No. Even if we say that everything else you have assumed, no other income, no expense, your sales only is your profit. कौन सा business I want to do this? Which is the business where sales becomes profit? Tell me that business I want to do that. No, bro. Forget that. He said HUF ka it will become zero. It can't become zero. If HUF ka income is 12 lakh, सुन लो, 60,000 ka tax will be paid even in the new regime. Plus cess, of course. Because rebate is available only to 1.3 million followers. And the day I saw that video and today followers could have increased also. I have no idea. कौन है? Not on record. Chartered accountant है. हाँ. हाँ हाँ क्या people are सही है, people are like sir वो क्या who does not have hair वो अरे अब problem क्या पता है I can't take name because now that I have taken the name you will actually go and search about him and you will follow him not me अलग generation है bro okay so you find out for yourself but remember one thing nonsense same influencer who said that you will open HUF when you have children. No, no, bro, you can open HUF without children. So video on all the topics, but every topic or every income tax video contains mistakes. Every video, some mistakes, some technical mistake. Assumption tak theek hai that you can assume one thing or the other, but still fundamentally you are wrong. Rebate is available. So अगर influencer marketing हो गया तो focus on what the teacher is saying also. Rebate will be available only to resident individual. Resident individual. Third condition क्या था? NTTI up to rupees in the new taxation regime with effect from assessment year 26-27. So bro, please understand. ये amount eligibility of rebate last year was 7 lakhs. अब आप ऑफिस में यू फाइल रिटर्न नो तो यू हैव टू गिव रिबेट टिल 7 लाख इन न्यू रेजिम ओल्ड में 5 न्यू में 7 5 and 7 का गैप वाज टू स्मॉल थिंक अबाउट इट ओनली माय 80C 80D will cover it so people will still remain in old regime auntie wanted to increase the gap to such a big amount that old regime you can take rebate only till 5 lakh and new regime you can take rebate till 12 lakh in such a way that people are motivated to go to new regime. So yes, this is also an amendment. The eligibility of income or income level for rebate is less than or equal to equal to 5 lakh is eligible and equal to 12 lakh is also again some idiot influencers. Now rule is 12 के ऊपर you are not eligible. Now influencers are saying 1275 ये भगवान problem is people see their videos and come and ask us sir ऐसा करके then I have to sit and explain okay he is assuming that the 1275 includes the salary and 75,000 so एक बात बताऊं you actually have to check your NTTI after standard deduction either before standard deduction you are checking that is not NTTI can come only after standard deduction how can you even compare दिखाने के लिए that you is beneficial the comparison only is wrong. Hey Bhagwan, please spare me. I cannot comment on every influencer ka every mistake. I can maximum make you understand old regime 5 lakh, new regime 12 lakh. So resident individual income up to 12 lakh and it is an amendment. Last year it was 7. You are not supposed to know outdated law just to tell you what is the amendment. You have to learn for your exam 12. ये conditions है, bro. Conditions. And once you fulfill the condition, what is going to be the quantum of your rebate? Actual tax or rupees 60,000 again an amendment with effect from assessment year 26-27 actual tax or 60,000 whichever is lower. So old regime में rebate का maximum limit was 12,500 quantum and eligibility income figure was 5 lakh. So 5 lakh के income पे how much tax comes in old regime? 12,500. That only is becoming rebate. That means can we safely say that at 5 lakh rupees in old regime your tax will become zero? No special rates. Assuming normal income. Okay. And now let's talk about new regime. I'll come to special rates. When normal income पे focus. At exact 12 lakh rupees. How much is the tax as per new regime? 60,000 and that 60 will become 0. That 60 will become 0. Is that clear? Everyone? Matlab, this is how auntie made the statement in parliament. The statement was, as per the amendment, there will be absolutely no tax liability for anybody earning up to 12 lakh rupees. And the moment she said it, third. Uneducated parliamentarians, they don't even know. They started assuming 0% till 12 lakh, 0. Arey pagal, first of all, only in the new regime. And that also, 4 lakh is basic exemption. 12 lakh is eligibility for rebate. Agar your income is 0 to 12 lakh, so whatever tax is coming will become 0. If your income is 13 lakh, 14 lakh, 15 lakh, so all the tax that you have calculated, you will apply without getting rebate. So basically, she was very smart enough statement. People having income up to 12 lakh, no tax. But people having income more than 12 lakh, that I am not saying only, that you find out. वो क्यों बोलूं? That you find out. So people having income up to 12 lakh, no tax. People having income exceeding 12 lakh will have to pay all the tax. Is that clear? So, two amendments. One, eligibility criteria has increased from 7 lakh to 12 lakh and quantum has increased. 7 lakh by 25,000 as per last year rates. But you ignore all that. The eligibility criteria and the quantum of rebate, these are both amendments. So, in new regime, rebate will be given up to income of 12 lakh. The quantum of rebate will be maximum 60,000. Correct? Correct? Now, one more amendment. But this amendment I already taught when I discussed rebate as per old regime. Kya? With effect from assessment year 26-27, one more thing has been specified. Pehle I will tell you, listen, the words of the amendment. Very confusing. Very confusing. Then I will give you the simple meaning of that. In the amendment they have said, if tax is calculated as per 115 BAC, that means, let's be clear, they are talking about new regime. This amendment is applicable to the new regime, new regime, new regime. If tax is calculated as per 115 BAC, the rebate cannot exceed the tax so calculated. And you are like, sir, wohi to likha hai. Nahin. This means that special rates के tax के सामने rebate not allowed, because that's the only way in which your actual tax can exceed 60,000. You understood? If tax is calculated as per special rates, so वो tax के सामने you won't be getting any rebate. But they specified tax calculated as per section 115 BAC. मतलब in old regime, will I get rebate? I have discussed this with you while doing old regime calculation. In old regime, will I get rebate against special rate income, special rate tax? Yes, only one exception. 1112, 112A, 112A, that I will discuss again while doing stock market. But in new regime, special rate के सामने, there won't be any rebate. Now, if you want to know the controversy, now full story you will come to. Okay? Rebate में marginal relief है, that last point is left, but till now the controversy. Everyone pay attention. Till last year, मतलब the returns that were filed last year, previous year 23-24, assessment year 24-25, what was written in income tax law? No rebate against 112A. No rebate against 112. मतलब long term capital gain stock market पे there will be no rebate. Specifically written. Nothing mentioned for other special returns. When people file their returns last year का July, when people filed their return last year, those who had short term capital gain, they claimed rebate against 112. Because law में specifically क्या बोला? 112A के सामने not allowed, but against 111A can I take rebate? If you are saying not allowed against 112A, that means other places they can take law. People claim. Suddenly, in the month of July, I distinctly remember the date, 5th of July ko, the ITR utility was amended and 111A tax ke against, they disabled the rebate calculation. In fact, those who had claimed rebate by filing their returns earlier, okay, April se 5th July, there were people who had filed. They got notice, demand notice, that much rebate is not unfair. Now, last year ka batch did not take place in July. Every year batch is for fixed date, 1st July. But election year में it can't happen before October. Budget 23rd July को आया, how can I start on 1st July? There were some students who took admission with me last year thinking that like every year it will be 1st July. So they had taken admission the moment they cleared inter. I told them election year end, it won't be before 1st October. I will try to keep it last week of September. I will try. It depends on budget. If budget comes in 1st week of July, September is possible. But budget came 23rd July. Still, I started my batch on about 16, 17 September. I started. As the first volume of my book was ready, I started my batch because I did not want to delay. But there were some students in July, October is too late, sir. चाहिए तो you teach us like that only, then later keep one lecture for amendments. And good I did not do. Capital gain पूरा change. New regime का rate change. Search and seizure का chapter fully change. Buyback tax का concept remove. Bro, 20-25% of income tax law changed last year का budget के अंदर 24 का budget. Because I did not start my batch early. The students said refund. I don't work as per what you will tell. I will work as per my choice. I know what is good for you. I will start the batch only after the budget is approved by the president. And now that student is related to one of my professor colleagues. And yesterday, my friend, my professor colleague told me that maybe वो जो relative थी, wherever she took class, no amendments were taught. 20% syllabus was not taught. The batch was started early only because they take refund from you and come there. But they know that they are not going with me. A group of 2-3 people. I said, I can't help it. मेरे से refund मांगा. I said, take it and leave. Don't take mine. I have got so many better things to do. So we have to wait. Every year we start on 1st of July. Last year we started a batch in the month of last week of September, but then in between there were a few holidays. So proper batch started 1st week of October. When 1st week of October, some students came. When I was teaching that rebate का concept, they said, "Okay, sir, short-term capital gain 111 के सामने भी rebate not allowed." क्या बोला? Not allowed. And what did I teach? Only 112 के सामने not allowed. All other incomes are. Sir, नहीं sir, in office I am filing ITR, but it is not happening. I can't do anything. If you show me the section, check 112 में बोला no rebate and nothing is written in 111. So what I am saying is that, in fact, the people who lost their rebate filed a writ petition and Bombay High Court का December का judgment है. If you want, I will give you the copy of the judgment. That dear government, the law says 111 के against rebate is allowed. You have to give the rebate. You can't be unfair. If you want to disallow the rebate, you can't change the ITR utility and disallow the rebate. Change the law. And they did that in February. Special rate के सामने no rebate. But last year, whoever got that demand notice, used that Bombay High Court ka judgment and get the demand cancelled. What I said in class was correct. And the moment that Bombay High Court ka judgment came, I still remember that student who asked me that doubt in class. I had numbers of all the students. I remember the names of most of the students. So I have it away. I forwarded that judgment to that student and said, "बच्चों आपस में बांट लें प्रसाद." She did not challenge me. It's a genuine doubt. Sir, office mate is not happening. What do we do? And that is where you need to understand. There are so many things that practically you will face which are not a part of the law. Sir, notice आया है. I have to reply to the notice. The last date of filing my reply is 5th of July. On the 5th of July, I was trying, but the portal was not working. उसका there is no provision in the law. So due date के दिन website hang हो गया. उसका there is no provision in the law. So these practical things you will learn in office. Law is very clear. Old regime rebate will be allowed against everything except 112A. New regime rebate won't be allowed against any income taxable at special rate. So 3 amendments in the rebate year. Amendment number 1. Come on. Eligibility increased to 12 lakh. Amendment number 2. Maximum rebate will be 60,000, which will make your tax at 12 lakh 0. And amendment number 3. Special rate का tax against no rebate. ये clear है? Auntie still wants to make new regime look attractive, attractive. So last year, not an amendment. This is not. She did something that was never seen before. This is not an amendment. But this is something that we have never seen before. Marginal relief is allowed only and only in calculation of surcharge. Surcharge is the only place where we have marginal relief. We studied the concept of marginal relief. When I did rebate in the old regime, she asked me, Dada, what is your name? Anisha. Anisha asked me, sir, what about when I did 5 lakh and 10 rupees? Sir, what about marginal relief? I said, nahi. So at 5 lakh and 10 rupees, full tax was applicable. But auntie wants to make new regime attractive. Attractive. Look attractive. So she actually introduced marginal relief. Yeah, amendment nahi hai. Amendment 3. 1 amendment, 2 amendment, 3 amendments. This is not an amendment. Marginal relief is going to be available from rebate. This was an unheard concept. This was applicable only under surcharge. Rebate mein there was no marginal relief, but new regime mein she has brought. So if we talk about old regime, let's be clear. If my NTTI is 5 lakh, so my tax will become nil due to rebate. Correct? But if my NTTI is 5 lakh and 10 rupees, so my tax will be 12,502 because I will not be getting any rebate. Correct? We've studied this. Up compare. Let's go to the new regime. Everyone is with me? Supposingly my NTTI is 12 lakh. So what will be my tax? Nil, as I am eligible for rebate. Now, case 2, my NTTI becomes 12 lakh and 20,000. So answer 2 things. Question number 1. Therefore, how much is increase in income? Means between the first person and the second person, income difference is 20,000. Second, is this second person eligible for rebate? New case of no Q more than 12. So no rebate. Fantastic. Abhi come. What is going to be the tax of this guy? Basic tax. Till 12 lakh, so it is going to be 60,000, and that extra amount of 20 will be taxable at 15%. So 20. I hope this is not fast. Otherwise, I will go slow. 20,000 will be taxable at 15%. So 20,000 ka 15%. So total tax. But there will be no rebate. Correct hai? Correct hai? 12 lakh ka tax 0 and 1220 ka tax 63,000. What is the difference in tax? And difference in income? Here comes marginal relief. The tax ka difference cannot be more than income ka difference. B, assessee B has earned how much more than A? 20. So his tax can't be 60. His tax can be only, come on, 20. So we will have to subtract some amount. And that amount, bro, is marginal relief. How much? 43,000. This concept of marginal relief was never a part of rebate. Marginal relief was always only a part of surcharge. But first time they have introduced marginal relief for rebate also. With this, somewhere about 12 lakh 70 odd, wahan tak bhi your tax can be, only that difference wala amount. You'll have to work and calculate. Okay? Because while rebate won't be allowed, but you will be eligible for something called marginal relief. ये clear है everyone? Fantastic. So that was tax calculation as per new regime under 115 BAC. Basic tax done. Rebate done. Rebate में lots of discussion because of amendment. What are the last two concepts? Surcharge. Okay, congratulations. While surcharge that way is absolutely same as old, you still need to note two things. मतलब for these assessees, individual HO, BOP, BOI, AJP, old का surcharge क्या है? 10, 15, 25, 37, 10, 15, 25, 37. After 50 lakh, 1 crore, 2 crore, and 5 crore. But note two things. First, NTTI should be as per new. It is possible that your NTTI in old regime is 80 lakhs, but in new regime it is 1 crore 20 lakhs. क्यों? You are foregoing exemption deduction. तो old का 80 lakh, तो old का surcharge will be 10%. But if new का income is 120, so on the basis of that income we will apply surcharge. Rate is same, 120 पे it will be 15%. मतलब rates are same, except that the amount of income you will see as per new regime. And the second thing, 37% का surcharge is not applicable. मतलब after 2 crore 25 and after 5 crore also 25. 35 applicable. 35 is not applicable. Sorry, 37% is, I was checking if you are paying 37% is not applicable. Correct है? Surcharge. Otherwise 10, 15, 25 is same. And NTTI, come on, same, but as per new regime. And last, hey Bhagwan, don't go and tell this to auntie just because native place same है. Don't go and tell this to her. क्या क्या आंटी देखो देखो HEC is very easy, it is same everywhere. तो चलो चेंज नहीं. As of now, across regimes, across assessees, it is same for all. HEC is going to be 4% on basic minus rebate plus. Correct है? With this we finish. क्या? 0.5. 115 BS is not over. तो क्या? Rates खत्म. One last point है. What is the last point? The tax benefits to be for. Okay. What you need to understand is, this is a list of exemptions and deductions to be followed. I have to show you my memory power. 20 points. 10, 5, 10, 13A, 10, 14, 10, 17, 10 double A, 16, 2 and 16, 3. Because 16 का 1 है, standard deduction is allowed. 24 का SOP का interest का deduction. Additional depreciation 32 subsection 1 clause 2A. 35 AD. Section 35 scientific research में there are 7 points. वो 7 में से first 2 are allowed, 35 1 and 35 subsection 2. The remaining are not allowed. Chapter 6A का deduction not allowed except 80 CCD2, CCH2, 80M, 80LA, 80 double J double. 5 exceptions. I don't have to show you my memory power. How you have to learn this list? Because if you sit and try to memorize, first of all, you will not understand most of them. Because you probably have not studied the section in inter, or you don't remember the section. So there is a way of approaching these tax benefits, these exemptions and deductions. You are not going to get a question in exam. List there. They will ask you in a question contributed to PPF, medical insurance premium paid, and recruited new employees. So PPF is 80C, only in old regime. Medical insurance is 80D, only in old regime. Recruited new employees 80 double A, they are calculating both. So how to approach this list? There is a way. How you will learn it and how you will write this list on a blank paper. Just we are going to do surcharge. There is a method of doing it. I will explain everything in the next class, which is tomorrow. And with this, the other 4 sections are very small. Tomorrow we will be starting international tax chapter, double taxation. Relief. Any doubt, difficulty, those online?